Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
Drops a bunt. Beltre to the bare hand. The off-balance throw, and it's patented.
Manny Machado makes the stop from his knees and gets the out. Oh, mercy.
Otherworldly defenders.
Hit hard. Beltre picked him clean.
Hard hit ball right to Manny at third.
When they meet, the hot corner is covered by two of the best. Adrian Beltre has set the standard for 20 seasons.
Great play by Adrian Beltre.
Rising all-star Manny Machado is the future.
Diving stop there. Machado got him.
Gold glovers, flashing leather, breathing life into their teams. Machado Beltre square off on Fox Sports Southwest.
You're watching Rangers baseball presented by AT&T. A sunny, warm one tonight here at Globe Life Park. Opening game in a three-game series with the Baltimore Orioles in town for just this weekend. These two teams will play 7 games in the span of 14 days. And you look at where they stand in the wild card standings. Both teams still ostensibly in it. A lot of teams up ahead of both Texas and Baltimore in the wild card. So much to play for this weekend as we welcome you in to Globe Life Park. Great to be with you once again tonight, folks. I'm Dave Ramett with CJ Nitkowski. And of course, wild card standings, team records, those are the focus. A little hard not to be distracted, though, by Adrian Beltre's chase to 3,000, and this homestand off to a very good start for him.
It is, and it's good to see because a lot of us were wondering, would Adrian Beltre be able to get there on this homestand? Nobody wants to see this happen on the road. Well, so far he has gotten off to a great start here in Arlington, and that is the good news. And Adrian continues to do what Adrian does so well. He's not just a hitter, he is a well-rounded hitter. He will show you the power. He'll hit the ball to all fields, get those ground balls through every once in a while as well. You see the long ball that he hit. 7 for 10 so far on this homestand. And so right now, Ranger fans feeling better and better about the possibility that he will get this thing done before we head to Minnesota.
Yeah, just 4 hits to go, and it is that time now. Everybody excited about it and anticipating it each time we come out to the ballpark. But don't go to sleep on the Baltimore Orioles. It's a team that hit 10 home runs in that 4-game series in Baltimore. And Adam Jones, not surprisingly, had 2 of those.
And he's been red hot as of late. Adam Jones now a guy for Rangers pitchers. They're going to have to keep an eye on him this series. You see the last 8 games and what he has done. This guy is 32 years old, and quietly over the course of his career, I think he's gone somewhat underrated. But right now, swinging a hot bat. Now he does it at the top of the lineup. That's the other part of this. This is a very dangerous and very deep lineup, especially when you talk about power with the Baltimore Orioles. But a leadoff hitter right now, and Adam Jones, the way he has been swinging the bat, Andrew Cashner is going to be tested from the very first batter.
Yeah, well, speaking of Andrew Cashner, we've got a rematch of the same starting rotation members that we saw in the opening game in Baltimore, and that is Andrew Cashner going against Chris Tillman.
And it's not too often, especially when you talk about out of your division, where pitchers get to go head-to-head, especially in such a short time period like you see here. Chris Tillman felt like he may have dodged a couple of bullets when he pitched against the Rangers last time. 4 walks and a couple of hits, but it was just the 1 run that was ultimately scored. Andrew Cashner threw the ball pretty well himself as he got into that 7th inning before he ran into a little bit of trouble. So it'll be a nice little rematch here between these 2 right-handers.
We also have a couple of slugging second basemen in this series, both of whom at 20 or better in home runs already. We'll put the 2 of them in the spotlight when we come back. TNT.com/keep calm to learn more. By Budweiser, not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, just about set to get going tonight. We talked about it as we were heading to break. A couple of incredibly powerful second basemen in this series. Time now for our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight.
And that'll take us to the second baseman in home runs that we have seen so far, and the leaders right now all in the American League. Jonathan Scope with his 21. Julio Odor right behind him with 20. Robinson Cano with 19. And this is coming off a year where Brian Dozier a year ago hit 42. Now 40 of those came as a second baseman, that time for the most all time. So not only this year, but even last year as well. So second baseman, never a position that we looked at as a power position, but we are seeing a lot more of that now around the game.
Yeah, we certainly are. And Cashner takes his club out onto the field. We are set to go, opening this big three-game series against the Baltimore Orioles inside a week to go until the non-waiver trade deadline. So a lot of the line for both these clubs. As we take a look at the Orioles starting lineup tonight: 48 wins, 53 losses. Adam Jones, Manny Machado, Jonathan Scope up at the top per usual. Middle of the order looks very similar as well. Trumbo not a big factor in Baltimore, but boy, he has always hit the ball well here. Castillo and Ruben Tejada at the bottom of the order were real pests when we were in Baltimore.
And they'll go up against Andrew Cashner. We mentioned, of course, two starts ago for him against a very similar lineup. Well, here's the arsenal. 62% of the pitches that you see from Cashner are that fastball. Both the four-seam and the two-seamer. Actually throws more two-seam fastballs. That sinker, the one he uses to try to get the ground balls, uses that a little bit more than he does the four-change cutter. Curveball as well for Andrew Cashner, the big tall righty, and the defense behind him tonight, which is delivered to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Joey Gallo back out in left field, a new position for him that we have seen a little bit more consistently as of late. Carlos Gomez, Nomar Mazara, and the great Adrian Beltre in his 5 Gold Gloves will be at third. You see the rest of the infield there. Robinson Trinos behind the plate tonight with Andrew Cashner.
It's a team game, CJ. It's a team game, and yet you can't take your eyes off that man right there. This is a big weekend for him.
It's always like that, I think, when you come to the ballpark and watch Adrian Beltre, but especially right now. That young fan would like 3,000 tonight. We'll see how it goes. But offensively and defensively, we're talking about all-around players, and you mentioned the open Adrian Beltre, of course, a great hitter in what he does, and so many different facets to his game offensively, but the great defense as well. We are very fortunate to have him here in Texas, and we are certainly excited over these next couple of days and what should be coming our way, and a little bit of history here with the Rangers.
Well, with that, Adam Jones heads to the plate. These two teams we mentioned played a 4-game series in Baltimore less than 2 weeks ago. Is the first pitch. This one swung on and lifted high in the air out to right center field, and Carlos Gomez says, "I got it." And there's one away.
You take that every single time, especially as we were talking about Adam Jones and how red hot he has been. Yes, he is hitting in the leadoff spot, but he doesn't necessarily treat those at bats like a typical leadoff hitter. He likes something. He saw it early, first pitch, and fortunately for Andrew Cashner, he got under it and popped it up. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Brings up Manny Machado. Well, it is our highest game time temperature of the year, 99 degrees.
Oh boy.
With that first pitch. Friday night here at Globe Life Park, nearing the end of the month of July, and Andrew Cashner pumps in a strike to Manny Machado. .241 average for Machado, getting on at a .310 clip this year, and he smacks this one foul out of play. It's 0-2.
We saw Machado in Baltimore, and much has been made about his overall year. You see that .241 batting average, but that thing is very deceiving. He looked, I thought, really good against the Rangers. The swing looked very vintage Manny Machado, and he swung a pretty good bat here so far in the second half. So everyone's, always ask that question, what's wrong with Manny Machado? Nothing. We're thinking nothing at all. He looks still really, really good.
Yeah, well, certainly nothing that we could see. He was 5 for 14 with 4 walks in that series, a series that the Orioles swept and did so fairly convincingly. Cashner's 1-2, and this one fouled off again. So Machado sitting on the 18 home runs. For the month of July, he's hitting .322. And he's hit for some power, driven in some runs, and he hits this one in the air out to center field. Gomez with a little bit of room out there. Tracks down his second fly ball of the inning, 2 away. Cashner getting a couple of fly ball outs early on here tonight.
Yeah, that's interesting, of course, because we have seen Andrew Cashner do a very nice job this year, turning in a 51% ground ball rate so far for him. 13 of those ground balls have turned into double plays, and the strikeouts have come down for Andrew Cashner, what you're used to seeing over the course of his career, but he has been working on it to become a much more efficient pitcher, using that fastball to get outs, and preferably on the ground, but he'll take certainly 2 fly ball outs to start off this game.
It goes to work with Jonathan Schoop. Schoop batting third tonight, and he is among the league leaders in a handful of offensive categories. Those 22 home runs, that's 9th most in the American League. Count 1-1 on Schoop, who is the reigning American League Player of the Week. His month of July, better yet even than Manny Machado's. We gave you those numbers a moment ago, but a little comebacker. Cashner, plenty of time, takes care of it himself. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Andrew Cashner on just 9 pitches thrown. And now the Rangers coming to bat. Now let's see what the Rangers can do against Chris Tillman. We'll take a look at our Southwest starting lineup. The Rangers 49-52. Shin-Soo Choo with 3 leadoff home runs this year, one of them against the Orioles, leading things off. Mike Napoli's had a huge power month. Right there in the heart of the order, batting 5th. All eyes, though, on the man ahead of him, Adrian Beltre, 4 shy of 3,000 hits. So Chris Tillman making his 14th start of the year for Baltimore. 1-5, a 7.01 earned run average. And he pumps it in there for a strike.
Let's take a look at the arsenal here for Chris Tillman. 50% fastballs, averaging right around 91 miles an hour. It has been a problem for him. The batting average against the 4-seamer just over 300. The 2-seamer pushing nearly 500. 478 batting average against his 2-seam fastball. You saw there the changeup, curveball, and the cutter. Excuse me, changeup, curveball, cutter as well. Yep, there it is.
It's 1-1. On the way to 2. Just missed the corner. Ball 2.
Now lefty-righty splits when you look at Chris Tillman. Neither necessarily very good. 330 against lefties, 342 against righties. But just 3 home runs allowed to those left-handed hitters. So he's got a handful tonight, 4 of them in the Ranger lineup, which does allow him to use his changeup a little bit more. It's probably been his best off-speed pitch so far this year. 244 batting average against that pitch. That is the lowest of any pitch in his arsenal. Now, if you're looking for some advantages here for the Rangers, 12.33 ERA might make you feel pretty good about facing Chris Tillman on the road. It has been a struggle through those 4 games.
2-2. And runs the count full on Chu. Chu 5th in the American League with 57 walks. I went back and looked at each of those games less than 2 weeks ago. That 4-game series in Baltimore. It was such a rough 4 days on the Inner Harbor. The one guy who had a little fun was Chu. He was 5 for 14 with a homer. And he stays alive here at 3-2. Chu had those 5 hits. Beltre had 5 hits in that series. Napoli had a home run in the series. But it was a quiet one. Best game was the opening game on that Monday night, which was a rematch of these 2 starters tonight. 3-2. And there's ball 4. So Chu draws the walk.
Well, great job by Shin-Soo Choo. Let's take a look now at the defense here behind Chris Tillman for the Orioles. Mancini, Jones, and Smith in the outfield. Manny Machado, Tejada, Scope, and Davis in the infield. And Wellington Castillo will be behind home plate. Very similar to what we saw in the 4 games that the Rangers played up in Baltimore. Very consistent lineup both offensively and defensively. I think we saw Caleb Joseph start one of those games, but other than that, for the most part, pretty steady here for the Baltimore Orioles.
So a man on now, and Andrews steps in. Some good early hacks here against Tillman as both Chu and now Elvis Andrus fouling off some pitches. See the numbers for Elvis. 13 home runs, an ongoing career best for him. He's 6th in the American League with 114 hits. So it's been another real good year for Elvis. He's been consistently good at the plate. 1-1 the count.
We'll see here too. We've talked about this a lot this year, but with Elvis Andrus, the ground balls, the ground ball double plays have been a little bit of an issue for him. We've seen him hit and run quite a bit, especially with Chu on first base. You got a big opening on the right side of the infield right now. He's done a really nice job of taking advantage of that at times. I just see that throw over. It's probably part of the reason. Chris Tillman's walk rate very high right now this year, 4.5 per 9, high for him. It's the only reason why maybe it makes you a little bit reluctant to put on that hit and run, just because Tillman has been out of the zone quite a bit this season.
1-1. Finds the corner for strike 2. Elvis with 17 double plays. That has been a problem, 3rd most in the American League. And he was one who struggled perhaps as much as anybody in that series in Baltimore. Was 0 for 16. Shoots this one though out into right field. That drops in for a base hit. So the first 2 men on here in the 1st inning. Rangers off to a much better start against Chris Tillman.
You love the approach by Elvis Andrus, having a great season, and this is why. You see a breaking ball that is down over the plate with 2 strikes. Instead of trying to do too much, if he tries to pull this ball, very easily could turn into another one of those double plays, but instead he looks out over the plate, just slaps that ball to right field for a base hit. Just like that, the Rangers are in business.
Couple of base runners now for Nomar Mazara. And then, of course, the man waiting on deck. Not in the circle at the moment, but close to it.
A little bit closer. Maybe a bat length, 2 bat lengths.
We'd have to legislate some new rules on that.
And the outside chance that anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, the absurdity from the last game on Wednesday where Adrian Beltre was ejected by first base umpire Jerry Davis because he asked Adrian to move closer to that on-deck circle, and Adrian instead just pulled the circle toward him. Davis didn't like that, and Adrian got the rest of the night off.
On the outside corner, 1-1 to Nomar Mazara.
You know, and I'm one to always at least try to dig in a little bit. So, okay, well, here's what everybody's talking about. Is there another side? I don't know if you found anybody that defended what Jerry Davis did and said, well, here's why. There's actually a decent reason behind it. A lot of people were talking about what happened here on Wednesday. And
this ball hit hard right field. That's a base hit. Choose around third. He'll score easily. Elvis can run. They'll wave him to the plate. It's a two-run double for Nomar Mazara. The Rangers jump out early tonight.
A big smile there from Nomar Mazara, and understandably so after hitting his 19th double of the season. Chris Tillman tried to go in with this pitch. It was a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, but it leaked over the plate too much, and you just can't do that to Nomar Mazara. Continues to have a nice season here for the Rangers. Great base running, great read by Elvis Andrus, who scores easily. And this is good to see because Chris Tillman held this Ranger lineup down to just 2 hits, 1 run in his last start over 6. It probably should have never happened, and they're not going to let that happen tonight.
Now Beltre. And he takes a strike from Tillman. Beltre, 307 average. You see the season numbers, and this is 49th game. Missed the first 51 of the year with injury. But after coming back off the disabled list, has been outstanding.
And just to wrap that up real quick on Jerry Davis, and what happened with Adrian, I don't know, did you read anybody that was defending the action?
No, I mean, the only thing to acknowledge is once Adrian pulled the on-deck circle toward him, you knew it was indefensible and you're going to be ejected. But no, the whole situation just it really didn't work out.
It was worth it, though. Wasn't it worth it? It had to be worth it.
Man, yeah.
It was for us.
2 balls and a strike now on Beltre. No, it was a great moment, and if you know, the one thing we all were upset about was the fact that the fans who had stayed around in an otherwise blowout game were there to see one more at bat from Beltre. They didn't get to see it, but at the same time they left with one heck of a memory. They will not forget that.
That's a story for life.
2-1. So this was the moment. This was Wednesday night, 8th inning. It was 18-6. There's Jerry Davis from second base telling him, hey, you need to get closer to the circle. He says, all right, how's this? And Davis said, well, how's that?
And he was standing on it on top of it, which was beautiful. And Jeff Bannister also joined Adrian the rest of the evening in the Rangers clubhouse.
3-1. There's a hard bouncer. Second base. Scopto is there and throws out Beltre. 1 away in the first inning. Zara goes to third. So Beltre remains 4 hits short of 3,000. Moves the man up. Get some high fives for it, and it'll bring up Mike Napoli, who now with a fly ball can add a run for the Rangers.
I hear this phrase a lot with Jeff Bannister in this lineup and encouraging guys to take team at bats. It's a pretty good example right there. Adrian Beltre could try to get big with his swing. He could try to do more and get a little selfish, but with the runner on second base and nobody out, hits that ground ball to the right side, does a nice job of getting Nomar to third. Like you said, sacrifice fly, ball in the dirt, whatever it may be. There's lots of different ways now that the Rangers can get this run across the board, and there's more pressure now on this Baltimore Orioles defense as they play halfway in against Mike Napoli.
Tillman, most wild pitches on this Orioles staff, has 7 of them this year. And this is here to go 2-0 to Mike Napoli. Tillman has given up the 2 runs so far here in the first inning. early parts of the game for Tillman, a real trouble spot. 17 runs allowed this year. And this now the 14th first inning he has thrown. It's 2-1 on Napoli.
Mike Napoli got a little big there, thinking he's going to get himself a 2-0 fastball, and Tillman went off speed. But how about this run differential? The first 2 innings, the Texas Rangers, we've seen this a lot all year, certainly scoring early, getting up early. But the Orioles, the worst in the American League, with a negative 39 run differential through the first 2 innings of the game.
Yeah, it hasn't been just Tillman who struggled early. 3-1 now. He has fallen behind some hitters here, and significantly so. This is third 3-ball count already. Napoli the 5th man he has faced, so not a real good sign for Tillman early on.
How about home field advantage too here in Texas this time of year? Not a lot of fun for visiting teams to come in right now with this kind of heat and humidity, especially you're playing in Baltimore all year. Although it was pretty warm when we were up there.
Oh.
I don't think those guys necessarily grow accustomed to it the way that some of the Rangers pitchers do.
Ground ball left side. And right there on top of it, they'll throw out Napoli. And that is out number 2. And the shift on, and he played right into their hands. And it brings up Rougned Odor. Well, it was a different kind of hot in Baltimore. It was, I dare
Swampy.
say, it was juicy.
Juicy, swampy. There are a lot of adjectives to describe. Thick. Oof, there's that game time temperature.
Big number.
One of the greatest favors they've ever did for visiting teams here was changing the bullpen. The way that they did was now parallel to the outfield wall. Used to be like a pizza oven down there. And you come through because the air just would not move and you were surrounded by cement. It was pretty torturous. See there in left field. It was a very nice gesture by the Rangers to do that.
Well, with 2 gone, Rangers not trying to do any favors here. Already scored a couple, and Odor would like to get at least 1 more in with Mazzara just 90 feet away. He pointed it out in our spotlight a little bit earlier. Second baseman Rougned Odor, Jonathan Schoop. Powers become a big part of that second base position all of a sudden around Major League Baseball. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the home runs are up around the game anyway, but there's always been, I don't think it's changed that much, where you look at certain positions, third base, first base, corner outfielders, where you expect to see those home runs. Whenever you get it out of the catching position, that's a nice surprise. You get it out of second base, that's a nice surprise. Brian Dozier 42 last year, 40 of those as a second baseman. That was a big surprise, and that's just a nice little bonus when you start getting that kind of power. The Rangers have had it here now for a couple of years with Rougned Odor.
Rugi with 20 long balls this year, 44 RBIs. Sits on a favorable count with Chris Tillman. Foul tips that one. It's 2-2. Now the month of July, Odor has gotten it going. Mike Napoli, you see, leads the American League with 8 home runs in July. Odor right behind him with 7, along with that man, Jonathan Schoop. Tillman's 2-2 pitch. That one fouled back our direction. Rugi was 4 for 15 in the series in Baltimore. Rangers had a little trouble in that 4-game series. Swept in those 4 games. Didn't have a whole lot of offensive opportunities, and boy, the Orioles were just pounding the baseball. Had 10 home runs. 2-2. And that one also sent into the stands. Now 30 pitches into this inning for Chris Tillman.
Well, that's good to see. I mentioned, obviously, a night like this, you love the idea of running up that pitch count against the opposing starting pitcher. Not that you're overly anxious to get into the Baltimore Orioles bullpen, but they're strong when they go to their big arms and they have a lead late. That's certainly been a huge advantage for them. But to run this pitch count up early on Chris Tillman. Already 2 runs across the board. This is a very productive first inning for the Rangers.
Odor takes up and away, and it's a full count.
And there it is so far. It almost split down the middle. You see the 15 balls thrown, the 16 strikes. Within those strikes, also seen a lot of foul balls. 3 here by Rougned Odor so far. Saw a couple from Sin-Soo Choo and his really good at bat to lead off this game.
Swings and misses at the full count pitch, and Tillman gets a strikeout to end it. But Nomar Mazara, who recently got himself back on track, delivered the 2-run double. Rangers lead early. Second inning, our Kubota power stats. Andrew Cashner pitching at home this year, 5th best home earned run average at 2.50.
He's done a good job here. It's certainly comfortable pitching in this ballpark and using the defense as well. I think it's a big one. We know the ball can get in the air and carry a little bit here, but because he's been such a good ground ball pitcher, it really does make sense that Andrew Cashner has posted some strong numbers here in Arlington this season.
One in there to Davis, and the count quickly 0-2. Chris Davis leading things off for Baltimore. Always a threat when he's in there. 0-2 pitch. I want to see if he would chase one way out of the zone. Davis with 17 home runs this season. The strikeouts once again a big part of the game. 112 of them. Holds off on that one though, 2-2.
And that's kind of been the go-to spot. We're seeing it more and more in the game, especially with these power hitters, the low average, high power guys, is to elevate that fastball, try to go up under their hands. We see a lot of guys chasing it, but Davis so far has laid off both of those, and then now the breaking ball down here to Davis.
Well, yeah, he wanted that down. He threw it down, and that was really borderline. I thought that was a pretty close pitch. 3-2. And this one sent away foul. So Davis putting a decent at bat on him here. This will be the 7th pitch of the at bat. Davis had just 3 hits in that 4-game series in Baltimore, but all 3 of them were home runs. And he hits this ball hard. One hop out into right field. That's a base hit. even if Odor gets to that on the shift, he can't possibly have a play.
I was kind of wondering the same thing. It would have been fun to watch. He would have been so far away from first base, though, because he was playing so deep in the outfield. So even if he dove and came up with this, and Davis is not necessarily a great runner, you see a nice shot of that four-seam fastball grip. I don't think he would have had a chance. Pretty interesting and fascinating, though, when we watch these shifts. I mean, he wasn't going to get to that ball, but it would have been such an awkward throw for Odor to have to make. Those shifts, we see a lot of creative and interesting things now that happen. You saw the Yankee game the other day, the way that the game ended up being tied. They had a heavy left-sided shift on, and a ground ball was hit. It was the Tampa Bay Rays, and both the second baseman and the shortstop just looked at each other. It was a routine ground ball to short, but it ended up getting through, ended up being a game-tying base hit, and the Yankees eventually walked it off. But the shift created that.
High pop-up back of second base, and Odor squeezes out number one. Yeah, I have believed for a long time that that's a potential issue when you crowd an infield. Guys are just calibrated to know, like, I can go get that ball, or that's in my range, whatever. You don't have time to think, though. And so if you have to think about, well, is he there? Is he going to get it? Then it's done. And you see it every now and then.
A lot of those basic instincts kind of get toyed with a little bit because you're standing in a different position and there's a infielder standing much closer to you than you're used to. Even though we're seeing more and more shifts, it still creates for some awkward situations for fielders.
Trey Mancini, sixth place hitter tonight. Has a start in left field, have a real nice year, a 301 average. You see the power numbers for him, high on base percentage. Use him in a handful of different spots. And they just want to keep that bat in the lineup, and he pops this one up right side of the infield, and Napoli will take care of it. So 2 gone. Hey, Rangers fans, download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can still stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by AT&T and Hyundai.
It was an interesting at bat to watch right there against Trey Mancini. We got into his swing a little bit. We were up in Baltimore a couple of weeks ago, and he's got that leg kick and he closes himself off a little bit. Well, Andrew Kasher pounded him in with back-to-back fastballs, two-seam fastballs that were running in. That'll be kind of interesting to watch if he continues to do that, if other Ranger righties kind of follow in his path a little bit, and if we see Mancini open up a little bit and start to cheat if they continue to do that. Always kind of that fun cat and mouse game between pitchers and hitters.
Well, 2-0 Rangers lead early on here. Here is Seth Smith, one of just 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup. One down in the dirt. Good block by Chirinos. Great to see Chirinos back, by the way. Missed that last series. Did not have to go to the disabled list, but we were in Tampa last weekend, and on a play at the plate, he was blocking the plate well. Rolled his left ankle. X-rays were negative. Needed a couple of days basically to get back into playing shape and get that ankle in good condition, and he's ready to go. Outside, 2-1. Brett Nicholas, meanwhile, who was called up as sort of a protective or fallback option at catcher, has not yet gotten an opportunity to catch, but did get a chance to pitch in our game on Wednesday. Nice one. That one in there. It's 2-2 to Seth Smith.
So I've always thought and wondered about the reverse of that. A lot of pitchers, especially relievers, will get incentives in their contract based on games pitched. You can't do things like ERA. There are certain things the league will not allow you to put into a contract, but games pitched, innings pitched is one of them. Well, if you pinch run or you have one of those weird situations, especially in the National League where a pitcher has to go play the outfield, I was wondering, would that count as a game played towards your incentives, right? You pitch in 49 games, but you had an incentive for 50. Well, that one time I pinch ran. So Brett Nicholas obviously not in a situation right now where he has those kind of incentives in his contract, but that's a game played.
Oh, for sure.
Put it on the ledger.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about some long toss maybe in the offseason. Get that velocity up. Some band work. He threw a 45-mile-an-hour pitch in that game. And not only did he throw it, but Ichiro hit it pretty hard, which was also amazing.
Runner goes, little pop-up back behind home plate, and Chirinos is there. 3 pop-ups in the inning by Orioles hitters. We've played 1.5 tonight. Rangers lead by 2. Limited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. J.D. Martinez, a grand slam for the Diamondbacks, so he's okay. 4th player in history with a grand slam in each league in the same season. How about David Price to the disabled list with the elbow injury? And the Nationals, you probably saw that, 5 home runs in the first inning. 6th team in history to pull that feat. That is the most in one inning.
4 straight?
Yeah.
At one point.
Well, here we go. Carlos Gomez, Joey Gallo, and Robinson Chirinos in the second. Gomez down to a knee. And fouls off strike 1.
It was interesting, too. You mentioned J.D. Martinez. He got hit in the hand, right? His first game with the Diamondbacks, and fortunately did not break anything. And once he got back in the lineup, he has been swinging a red-hot bat. And they're certainly looking like they could do some damage. That West in the National League is owned right now by the Dodgers, but the Arizona Diamondbacks, keep an eye on the trading deadline. They could be a little bit sneaky. Colorado Rockies vying for a wild card spot.
Tillman's 2-strike pitch to Gomez. Not going to go after that one. 1-2 the count. You know, speaking of the trade deadline and the non-waiver trade deadline is coming up on us here shortly, the 31st of July. Now that's the time at which you can trade whomever you want right now. As Gomez strikes out swinging, 1 away. You don't have to worry about waivers. After that, you can still make trades. It's just a little more complicated with the way you have to maneuver your roster to get to that point. But the point is, this is that active time of year. Now, I feel like to this point this year, it's already been a pretty interesting, pretty active market.
It has been. Teams getting a little bit aggressive early, which I've never thought was a bad idea. I think on the other side of that, if you're moving on from a player that teams want, the only thing you worry about in that situation by maybe jumping ship a little bit too early is, would there have been a better deal out there? As you get closer and closer to that deadline and maybe teams get a little bit more desperate, or could you have done better? But if you like the deal that is out there, why not go ahead and take it a little bit early?
Joey Gallo on the 1-0 pitch. He pops this one foul back out of play. That will end up in the stands. 1-1. Gallo 7th in the American League with 25 home runs.
This is a team in the Baltimore Orioles that people are keeping an eye on, wondering could they deal from their strength. Their strength is that bullpen. Brad Brock's name has been out there. Zach Britton's name has been out there.
Gallo with a liner, and that one down safely in right field. So Gallo with a single in the second inning. Third hit of the night for the Rangers.
Joey Gallo all over this pitch, and he smoked this ball into right field. Let's take a look first. And an off-speed pitch that's kind of sat in the middle of the plate. And then watch the shift. This has to be extra fun for hitters, right? The shift kills batting averages, especially for dead pull hitters, and that's why they shift Joey Gallo the way that they do. As you look at a couple of pretty big dudes over there at first base. But I got to believe that, okay, yeah, you want to shift, go ahead. I'm not changing anything. And then to be able to smoke a ball through the shift the way Joey Gallo just did, I got to believe there's a little extra satisfaction in those moments.
Gallo with his lead now, and here is Robinson Chirinos. Robinson in at 227.
So we just saw Joey Gallo and Chris Davis standing there, first base, mentioned a couple big dudes. What do you think combined bench press between those two? It's got to be something pretty impressive. I mean, Joey almost makes Chris Davis look, I don't want to say small, but we had that tighter shot. And he's bigger than him.
He is. There's
and
no
Chris
question.
Davis is a monster. I think 600 pounds? How much? I don't even know. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, I don't know in either of those guys' cases if they're like big, you know, putting up big numbers per se. I know they could, and 600 would probably be in the realm of possibilities.
How many broadcasters would it take to get there? Between me, you, and Steve, could we tie them? Probably not. No chance.
No, I don't think so.
Could we reach one of them?
Maybe.
Between the three of us.
I think, you know, wind's blowing. Sure.
From the ground up.
Yes. We need some help. 1-2 the count on Chirinos. Robbie with 12 home runs and 26 driven in. There you go. Good power numbers for Chirinos. But this is the first game back since exiting that game on Sunday in Tampa Bay with the ankle injury we were talking about last half inning. And his playing time has been more sporadic since the All-Star break in general. It's just the 5th game he has started. Bouncer up the middle. Handled by Tejada. Steps on the bag, throws over to first for the double play, and that ends the inning. 6-3, and it's a quiet second. Just 11 pitches needed for Chris Tillman.
1-0 here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Texas A&M night here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, and a special guest throwing out the first pitch tonight, former A&M linebacker and former Cowboys linebacker, Dat Nguyen. Dat got it in the strike zone, a little high, but you had to feel good about the performance out there tonight.
Yeah, it was good. I felt good. I just closed my eyes and threw the ball, so I'm glad it landed, and then the catcher was able to catch the ball.
Any nervous jitters out there?
No, not really. I think it's something that you just go out there and just have to. If you think too much, you're gonna mess up. So
yeah, and you don't have to hit anybody or anything like that. Fill us in on what you've been doing and how cool it is to be a part of Texas A&M night here at the ballpark.
It's always so neat. It's always come back. It's the alma mater. It's one of those deals that it's part of your blood. A&M has always been part of my life, and a lot of people don't know the story how it all turned out with A&M, and for me to be a chance with be a part of the Texas A&M and how it is with A&M. My first few years at A&M, I think there's times when I had doubts and didn't know what it would be that A&M would ever be a player. But I was fortunate to have a career there, and it turned out to be a great career. And I'm fortunate to have some great coaches, great players, and great teammates that have helped me, give me a chance to do what I did at A&M. But for me now, I'm running Chick-fil-A downtown Fort Worth, so that's what I do now as a running the restaurant and trying to impact people like coaches impact my life.
We're glad to have you here at in the Metroplex. We're glad to have you at the ballpark tonight here on Texas A&M night, Dad.
Thank you very much, Emily.
Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Emily. This one right through into right field by Wellington Castillo. Base hit to open the third inning.
We just talked about beating the shift the way that Joey Gallo did, which was pretty much hitting right through it. Well, Castillo takes the opposite approach, does a nice job of hitting this ball the other way. It's a pitch it away, exactly where Andrew Kastner wanted it. Very nice location, but you see Ruben Odor is playing up the middle a little bit against that right-handed bat of Castillo, and just out of the reaches, Castillo hits that ball the other way. So it's one of those ones we talk about. Give credit where credit is due. Andrew Kastner made his pitch. Wellington Castillo had a plan to go the other way.
Little tapper out in front of the plate. That's a fair ball. Oh, or is it not? All right, our second base umpire, Chris Siegel, said no, that got him on the leg. It is a foul ball. Looked like our plate umpire, Jordan Baker, was saying no, that's a fair ball. He came out and was pointing fair, but Siegel saw that.
Yeah, it looked like it caught the side of his leg, and you even see the reaction there from Ruben Tejada. Right above his knee, barely grazed it. And you see him grabbing his leg right away. Yep, and you can see even the ball as it changes direction. That ball originally bouncing up, but it was Ruben Tejada's first reaction, which was to start to take a step out of the box. Then he realized it hit him, and that's probably what caused some of that confusion for the home plate umpire, Jordan Baker.
Tejada, 250 for the year, lifts this one into short right field. Mazzara, plenty of time, and tucks away out number one. We'll go back to the top of the order, but before we do that, how about a Chevy game break? Let's send it back to Rick Renner.
Center fielder Adam Jones.
All right,
thanks, Rick.
For Yankee fans, that is good to see. 6 2/3 right now for Tanaka. 11 strikeouts and no walks. It has been a very up and down and mostly down year for Tanaka. As the Yankees try to fight for a postseason spot, they really need their ace to come through. It's been a rough year for him in New York.
How much more do the Yankees need to do with this trade deadline?
I'll tell you what, it's interesting. If you get the best version of Tanaka, this kind of version, you don't feel as bad with him and Severino at the top of the rotation. The bullpen obviously is in great shape, so there may not be that much that they have to do unless you can get your hands on a starter. You want to go big, and we've heard Sonny Gray, heard them poking their nose around here, maybe wanting to get their hands on our guy, and your Darvish. That would be a big move. If you really want to get bold, then you go for a big starter. Whether or not they want to do that, they got some prospects, the ones that are even in the big leagues right now, that other teams would love to get.
1-1 to Jones. Bouncer third base. Beltre go to second one. The relay to first. Double play. 5-4-3. The Twin killing. Inning is done. And Andrew Kastner with another very efficient half inning. Beltre gets into the action defensively. Due up fourth when we come back. 3-game series. And our TXU Energy power player to watch. Let's take a look at these two teams. Instead of one player, look at the home runs since the All-Star break. Orioles leading the world with 20, tied with Kansas City. And they're the Rangers, one back with 19 since the All-Star break. Very home run dependent offenses.
Interesting to see. I mean, the Baltimore Orioles, I think, are a team that maybe doesn't surprise you as much. The Kansas City Royals are the team that really kind of jump out at you when you look at that list of what they have done, and all of a sudden they have made things very interesting in that American League Central. And people wondering, would they be sellers? At least wondering that about a month ago. The answer to that is no. They are currently 2 games back now of the Cleveland Indians and trying to make a run for their division.
Strike to Chu makes a count 1-1. It'll be Chu, Andrus, and Mazzara in this 3rd inning. And if any one of them can get on, Adrian Beltre would bat here in the 3rd. Chu walked in the 1st inning, eventually scored a run on the Mazzara double. Yeah, so the Royals, they started 10-20 this year. And that's when, I mean, there were already noises in the offseason about would they maybe be sellers. But that's when people went nuts. Now 3-1 to Chu. Since that 10-20 start, they've gone 43-27.
Incredible.
One of the better teams since that point in the American League. And in fact, currently on an 8-game winning streak. Chu takes a strike and it's a full count.
They've done it a little bit of a different way in the years that they have won previously. Weren't necessarily hitting the home runs the way that they are right now. The bullpen was definitely much deeper and stronger than it is right now, but they're finding a way.
And there's ball 4. So Chu with another walk twice tonight. He has earned the free pass. And that's how we start the bottom of the 3rd.
Shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
All right, here's Elvis Andrus. Last time, really nice at bat. He served one out into right field. Chu over at first base. And they want to appeal the check swing. Bruce Streckman says no. 1-0.
That same right side of the infield is wide open for Elvis Andrus. Now, back in the 1st inning, it was a line drive base hit. We see all that room for ground balls on the side. See a pretty good lead right now by Chu as well.
2 balls and no strikes.
And as much as we talk about shifts and how they're handled, the one thing that always surprises me, if you were really to shift properly, you would shift based on the pitch and location every single time. It wouldn't just be one shift. We see teams that will adjust 2 strikes, but I always get thrown off when I'll see a guy throw a pitch away with that much on the right side of the infield open, especially a fastball.
Inside this time, and it's 3-0.
And that's where that back and forth starts to happen in these conversations. Is it you're going to go ahead and try to get him to pull the ball and pound him in, or are you trying to stay away from his strength? And so you go off speed pitches away, try to get out front. So many different variables in these situations.
Hefty pitch count so far for Tillman. This is 6th 3-ball count already tonight. And he nibbles off the bottom of the zone there for strike 1. I think Elvis, his expression says it all.
This is one of those pitches, and it was a pretty good pitch, and it was close. But it's one of those ones that's, okay, well, it's 3-0. Probably going to call it. You going to call that pitch 0-2? I'd say no. And that's part of the issue for hitters when they start to get a little bit frustrated with umpires and wishing that the count did not dictate whether or not that pitch was actually strike.
This ball hit well. Out to left field. On the run toward the corner is Mancini. It is gone. 14th home run of the year for Elvis Andrus, and he got a pitch he could drive. 4-0 Rangers.
Elvis right now probably very happy that Jordan Baker did not call that 3-0 pitch a ball, because he got himself a 3-1 pitch to handle, and it was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Watch the glove here from Castillo. That ball was supposed to be down and away. Instead, it finished up and in. You see the two-seam grip. It ran right back into Elvis's bat. He knew it right away. Little look into the dugout. Now I'm thinking, in all those situations, right, where you give umpires looks or maybe you're a little frustrated, do you walk by after you hit that home run and say, hey, man, thanks for calling that 3-0 pitch a strike?
Probably not. One strike pitch to Nomar. Mazara swings through, strike two. Now that one traveled 401 feet. No doubter for Elvis. Left the bat at 100 miles per hour. So nobody out here in the third inning. Mazara shoots this one out to left field. That one could be trouble. It gets down. It'll go to the wall. Mazara had a double earlier. He'll cruise to second with his second double of the night.
When Nomar Mazara is swinging the bat like this, it is so fun to watch. We saw the double that he crushed to right field in the first inning that rolled to the gap. Here he is with a ball that is down and away, and he drives the other way. See how he stays back, even though he's a little bit out in front, because it is an off-speed pitch. It was a slider. The head stays back, and it stays over the middle of his body, which allows him to still get behind that ball and drive it, even though he was just a little bit out on his front foot. But it's just, it is a joy to watch when you see a young hitter, and sometimes we forget that Nomar Mazara is still just 22 years old. You see him drive balls in his first two at-bats against the same pitcher, one to right field, and the second one to left field. So impressive.
Now the part of the show that so many of these fans came for tonight. Beltre needs 4 more hits to join that very small fraternity of 3,000 hit members. He was swinging it brilliantly in the beginning of this homestand. The first 3 games against the Marlins. Had 4 hits on Monday, 3 hits on Wednesday. Take it in. It's 2-0. Adrian grounded out of the first inning. He's 0 for 1. "38 years old. This is 20th big league season. He's always hit Tillman well, and foul tips this one for strike 1.
That's probably why Chris Tillman threw a 2-0 changeup there to Adrian Beltre. You think about getting behind the count. You're working hard here. 60 pitches now for Tillman. You're trying to get an out. Well, he knows Adrian has swung the bat well against him, and he knows obviously what a great hitter he is. And so he tries to go with the off speed, and Adrian fouls it off.
When fouled back, it's 2-2. Well, Adrian has been pretty public about it. He'd like to get this accomplishment over as soon as possible. Not because he's anxious about getting there and really wants that 3,000 hits, as much as he just wants the attention, the questions, the spotlight off of him. And back to just playing baseball. 2-2. Broken bat, Blue out towards center, drops in, base hit. Mazara got a great start. He'll score. 5-0 Rangers. Beltre with the RBI single. And now he's just 3 short of 3,000.
Adrian Beltre muscles this baseball two-seam fastball as it ran in, and he caught it off the barrel, but he did enough. You see the reaction there from Tillman. Pretty good pitch down and away. Does enough to get it in the outfield. But how about Nomar Mazara? Zero hesitation on his part. As soon as that ball came off the bat, he knew that it was going to be down in the outfield. He took off right away. Some guys want to look back and make sure that ball's going to get down, because it's one thing to read a ball off the barrel. You have a pretty good idea where it's going to go. It's a lot tougher to read a ball when it's not hit well. You're not exactly sure how hard that ball was hit, but there was zero hesitation on the part of Mazara.
Now Napoli takes ball 1. So our Adrian Beltre hit counter up to 2,997, brought to you by Jack in the Box. One step closer. 1-1. The count on Napoli. Well, the first 4 have all reached. Nobody out in this 3rd inning. 5-0. Rangers with the lead. Napoli trying to knock that one out. It's 1-2.
Yeah, we'll see how the rest of this series goes. What we saw up in Baltimore was a big surprise, right? I think we're all taken back a little bit to watch some of these Baltimore Orioles starters, especially at a time when they were all struggling collectively, pitched pretty well against the Texas Rangers. We were all a little bit taken back by that, and I just remember thinking there's no way. So at some point somebody's going to have to pay for that, and they've certainly scored some runs since, but hard to imagine Chris Tillman has had this kind of season where he has really struggled.
Boy, throws that one all the way to the backstop and then back to himself. That is a wild pitch that gets Beltre to second base.
But hard to imagine that he would go back-to-back and be able to hold this Rangers offense down. It's too good. And you talk about a pitch that was yanked. Look at that slider. He didn't want it anywhere near the zone in a 1-2 count, trying to get Mike Napoli to chase. But that was something. And I don't remember the last time I have seen a pitcher recover his own wild pitch, because he ended up being the closest man to the ball.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Napoli chases strike 3, and that's the first out of the inning. 3rd strikeout tonight for Tillman.
The second baseman.
And now he'll deal with Rougned Odor. Beltre getting a little look from Tillman. And it's been a struggle. 67 pitches as he works with 1 out in the 3rd inning. And this is the Tillman, based on the numbers that we saw before the last series, and then of course coming into this series, this is more along the lines of, I think, what Orioles fans have watched this year, which has been such a frustration. Now, when we saw him, I guess 2 Mondays ago, Tillman was unbelievable. 1 run on 2 hits in 6 innings.
And the 4 walks in there, but he was kind of pitching in and out of trouble most of the time that we saw him. I think he was getting away with some mistakes as well, but so far it has not happened here tonight.
Bouncer foul, 1-1.
Interesting too. Chu has walked twice already tonight. As we look at Rougned Odor, Mazara has reached in both of his at bats with a couple of doubles. The lefties, although the batting averages are both bad for Chris Tillman, no 2 ways about it, 330 and 342. He's got the highest walk rate versus left-handed hitters in the game. as among starting pitchers. So he's been an issue. Chu is taking advantage of that tonight. We know obviously Rizzo Odor, not a big walk guy, but I think you get that in the back of your mind a little bit where Tillman has had some issues keeping the ball in the strike zone against lefties.
Had now 1-2 with Odor. He struck Rugi out in the first inning. A lot of numbers for Tillman that are a bit troubling this year. He's a big right-hander, 6'5", 200 pounds. Continues to work in the heat tonight. A swing and a miss. He gets back-to-back strikeouts in this third inning. The earned run average for the Baltimore Orioles as a team, 511, highest in the American League. It's not just Chris Tillman. I mean, there are plenty of issues right now to go around in this starting rotation. Tillman's road numbers, we mentioned them earlier, have just been disastrous. A 1233 earned run average coming in. And on the road, opponents hitting 447 against him. And Gomez pops this one up. Short right field. Seth Smith coming on. And he'll put it away, so the inning is done. The Rangers, though, add 3 more. Elvis Andrus with a bomb to left field. And then Adrian Beltre. One more hit on that resume. He's 3 short of the magic number. Tonight, as we go to the 4th inning, Manny Machado will lead things off for the Orioles. Start talking about some of the great young players in this game, specifically young power hitters in this game. Manny Machado right there in the middle with Bryce Harper and Mike Trout, players 25 and younger with some big home run totals.
You know, the game has gotten younger, the power has gone up, so you start to see some things like that. Makes you wonder, where are we going to end up as far as maybe potential career totals, who can challenge home run records. There are some good young players that'll have a chance to do that.
Machado with a lazy fly ball to center field, 1 away. Begins play here in the bottom of the top of the 4th inning. Jonathan Scope coming up.
You take your outs any way that you can get them, especially when you're going up against a high-powered offense like the Baltimore Orioles. We talked about the home runs and what they have done so far in this month. Well, Andrew Casher so far, just a couple of ground outs. He had the one that was back to him to end the 1st inning, and then that double play in the 3rd. Everything else has been in the air, but he's done a nice job, obviously keeping the ball in the ballpark. And like I said, yes, he has been very good this year, 51% ground ball rate, but when you're going up against a team like this, you take your outs any way that you can get them. And an excellent pitch count as well to go with it. He's doing it all so far.
Stolp swings at the next pitch and lifts it into short left field. So Gallo right there, easy out. 2 away here in the 4th inning. And you want to be one of the first 10,000 fans to the ballpark on Sunday, August 13th, and you'll take home a Rangers talking alarm clock, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Brookshire's. Rangers taking on the Houston Astros. It's a 2:05 first pitch, and you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Now here's big Chris Davis. Base hit in the 2nd inning. One of the Orioles' 2 hits so far tonight. Former Ranger Davis has enjoyed all kinds of success in recent years. Big guy, we mentioned, 6'3", 230 pounds, but he's really ripped. I mean, that's a big, strong dude.
He must work out.
He takes it high in the count, 2-1. He played with the Rangers 2008 through 2011. Up and down during that time, but since then a Baltimore Oriole and has just crushed it.
Thus the nickname, Crush Davis. See what you did there. Well, they liked him so much in Baltimore that last year, the beginning of the 2016 season, or heading into that season, they brought him back on a 7-year contract, $161 million, and this is certainly a piece that ownership with the Baltimore Orioles wanted to make sure that they had around. It was impressive. You're never going to see the high batting average, although there's been some years where it's peaked. Not what you expect.
Take strike 3 looking. That's number 113 this year for Davis. A big part of the game as well. Quick 9-pitch 4th inning for Castro. Especially out in Cooperstown. What a magical weekend it is, a Hall of Fame induction. And we invite you to join us Saturday, August 12th. We're going to honor Hall of Famer Ivan Rodriguez. Come to the ballpark early, a special pregame number retirement ceremony. Plus, the first 15,000 fans at the gates are going to get a Pudge Rodriguez Hall of Fame bobblehead, courtesy of Powerade and Walmart. You don't want to miss this historic moment. Tickets, I understand, to be available at TexasRangers.com/Pudge. And Tillman struggling to find his form tonight. Deals ball 1 to Joey Gallo.
Seen a handful of those breaking balls that stay up and away like that on the arm side. Kind of speaks to some fatigue. The other thing to remember about Chris Tillman, of course, he has missed time at the beginning of the year, first couple of months, with shoulder soreness. And there's a part of me that wonders, and it's pure speculation, on him trying to battle through it. You know, this is a guy who's been their top of the rotation starter before. He's headed to free agency after the year, and you could see where a guy might say, well, you know, it's all right, you know, whatever. I'm 85% or whatever the number may be, but I'm going to try to pitch through it. I think that's, you know, strictly guessing, and maybe that's been part of some of his struggles this year. It's such a tough spot to be in. You work so hard to try to get to free agency and then have to deal with an injury and trying to prove that you're fine.
Battling here tonight, the 2-1 pitch to Gallo is off the plate, and this has been the problem. I mean, he continually finds himself in a hole. 3-1 here, where Gallo can just gear up for whatever it is that he wants. Maybe he doesn't get it, no worries. He'd have another pitch coming. Gallo hit one sharply into the dramatic shift against him for a base hit last time. And he watches a quality strike. It's a full count.
Pitch Tracks had that one a little bit wide, but no argument from Joey Gallo. I mentioned the 4.5 walk rate, 4.5 walks per 9 for Chris Tillman. Obviously, that's been an issue. First pitch strikes, less than 50%. That has been an issue. That's one of the worst in Major League Baseball among starters.
Payoff pitch. Ooh, and that's a good breaking ball in there for strike 3 called. Gallo down looking, 1 away in the 4th.
Joey Gallo, I don't know if he was sitting fastball necessarily. The reaction didn't necessarily tell me that, but I don't know if he just saw it location. You see him there and the eyes start to get a little bit big. I wonder if he thought that ball finished in. See the movement? Watch Wellington Castillo at the end here. It's kind of an indicator that he believes that pitch was probably a ball. Joey Gallo certainly thought so.
One out. That's the 5th strikeout tonight for Tillman. And Chirinos lays off a breaking ball that comes way in. Rangers got a couple in the 1st inning. They added 3 more in the 3rd. 5 runs so far tonight on 6 hits. Meanwhile, Andrew Kastner has been flat dealing. And another breaking ball. This one misses just a little bit high.
I'll mention first pitch strikes and how they've been an issue for Chris Tillman this year. Tonight, not any better. Of the 18 batters that he has faced so far tonight, only 6 first pitch strikes. I know you know that math.
Yeah, it's like
come on, 33%.
High pop up into short left field. Waiting for it, Tejada. So 2 outs in the first 2 hitters he's faced in this inning, and that is the first time tonight that Tillman has turned back the first 2 hitters of an inning. It brings up Shin-Soo Choo. Sometimes my little calculator watch takes a little while to.
I know you can do 6 out of 18.
Change
though.
the
Come
screen,
on.
you know. But I got 33% on it.
That's
three
correct.
repeating.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Also, it's 8:26 p.m. Here's a pitch to Chew. And
you definitely had a calculator watch as a kid, did you not? The one where we had to use like the pencil tips?
No, I wish I did. I did not.
I did have one.
I wanted one. That and I think it was like a Pac-Man watch. Now that really looked cool.
What did you have?
No, that's the other thing I wanted.
Oh.
Was a Pac-Man watch.
Oh.
As you notice, I don't wear a watch.
Yeah, I rarely do. It gets so hot, especially when we sit up here. I think, you know, for me, you're moving around all the time. You're constantly hitting the desk and it's clicking. And I'll wear one once in a while, but I don't like wearing one during the game.
True, a little late that time. 1 and 2. There's only one time a day that really matters in our lives, and that's usually like first pitch.
Game time.
So I just need to hit that one time every day, and I feel like the rest of it doesn't exactly fall into place, but it just does what it does. 1-2. Swings and misses. Strike 3. And Tillman much sharper in the 4th inning. His first 1-2-3 of the night. Rangers with a 5-0 lead. The 5th inning is next.
The Orioles 5-0, and it is Korean Heritage Night here at Globe Life Park, and so our fans of the game naturally here for Korean Heritage Night. Ladies, I'm going to present this to you. They attended a special signing with Shin-Soo Choo today. Choo's selling these hats to benefit his foundation. They've got the 17 on the side, and the proceeds benefit the foundation. Ladies, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Wonderful night.
Wonderful night, yes.
Choo, choo, choo.
안녕하세요.
Thank you.
Very nice.
High five. There we go.
Translates.
awesome.
The high five translates anywhere. Come on, baseball fans. Do you have much Korean food in your life?
Yes, I like.
You do?
Oh, I like little kimchi, of course.
You do?
I like bulgogi. Yeah.
So you like spicy then?
I do.
Yeah.
And of course, Korean barbecue. That's always really good.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of the spice. I had to pass on the kimchi the 2 seasons I was over there. Couldn't do it.
Chopper, third base. Adrian Beltre. Routine play, takes care of Trumbo. 1 out in the 5th inning.
So just what we were talking about a little bit earlier with Trey Mancini, which will be interesting to watch. I think through this series we've talked about it. We're up there as well. But I want you to watch the leg kick a little bit. High leg kick. He closes himself off a little bit. It almost looked like it was a little bit more when we were in Baltimore. But when you see that as an opposing pitcher, and when you're scouting a guy and you look, say, Trey Mancini, okay, we don't know a lot about him, but he's got 16 home runs this year, first full year in the big leagues. How do we attack that? Now, Andrew Kasher loves throwing the fastball in anyway to right-handed hitters, but I think when you see that little bit of a leg kick and you see it there, you continue to pound him in and let him pop balls up like that.
Torinos right there to put it away, and there are 2 out.
And what that does is he just gets tied up. I'm not saying he can't hit that pitch. No, he can. You know, quick hands, keep him close to your body. He could get to that, but because of the leg kick, I think you keep going in there as a righty. You try to tie him up a little bit, keep him from getting those arms extended. Let's see who gets under this one. I like the approach so far from Andrew Kasher against Trey Mancini.
Well, it's the 9th out that has come in the air tonight for Andrew Kashner. He has gotten a lot of pop-ups, 4 pop-ups, and 5 fly balls to the outfielders. So he has lived.
Oh,
but look at those
come on.
numbers.
3 9-pitch innings. I'm joking. And a chance to maybe get under that this one.
Yeah, 2 away already. And there's a bouncer, just foul. 1-1 to Seth Smith. Oh, by the way, if you're going to hop up and run to the fridge between innings, make it a quick one. Adrian Beltre due up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Already with one hit tonight. 1-1. Didn't miss by a whole lot.
Have to pop up and go sit in the fridge for a little while.
Yeah, well,
that felt nice.
It's warm up here. Heater's on. The 2-1. A little in on Smith. Smith popped up in the second inning. Smith with 11 home runs, 22 driven in. His numbers really pretty good. Once again this year, the average has jumped lately. Castro with a long look in the 3-1. Full count. On a night where at game time it was 99 degrees, Cashner's hardly broken a sweat tonight, and he walks Seth Smith. Look at that, it's dipped 4 degrees. Thought I might be getting a little more comfortable.
Just a little under 1 degree per inning. Had to pick up the pace a little bit on that.
We'll run a jacket before this thing is done. Wellington Castillo had a base hit in the 3rd inning. Castillo was that guy. Really, Castillo and the guy waiting on deck, Ruben Tejada, were those guys when we were in Baltimore. They combined for 13 hits in that series. The 8th and 9th place hitters. The bottom of the order did all kinds of damage when we were at Camden Yards for that 4-game series. Cashner's 1-0, and that one fouled to the backstop. That's the opening game of this weekend series. Just 3 games with Baltimore, and then Seattle coming in on Monday. Been a while since we've seen a whole lot of in-division opponents. Saw the Angels just before the All-Star break. And prior to that, it was Seattle in mid-June. This one shot way over to the right side, fouling out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Wellington Castillo. What a regal name. Castro wanted that one up there, left it up there. 2-2. Not much of a lead at first base. A 2-2 pitch fouled off. And Castillo will see another one. Been some pretty colors in the sky tonight. Beautiful time of night as we are comfortably now into the weekend. What a gorgeous setting for baseball here at Globe Life Park. Cashner's 2-2, and a bouncer up the middle. Odor can't quite get to it, and that one rolls through for a base hit. How about Castillo? 2 hits tonight. So a couple of base runners for Ruben Tejada.
Yeah, 2 of the 3 for Wellington Castillo, a couple of singles, and see the 2-seam fastball grip elevated a little bit more probably than Andrew Cashner wanted it in that situation. Castillo takes him right back up the middle. We saw him go to right field as well, so he's taking a pretty good approach against Cashner and got himself a couple of base hits. And now for the first time tonight, the Orioles have a runner in scoring position. And that is an area where they can be and have been very dangerous this season.
Smith out there at second base, Castillo at first. And now Tejada, and he bounces one foul.
Tejada, one of the few guys on this team who has not hit well in these spots. 125 in scoring position for him this year, but overall as a Ball Club. They've done extremely well. 289 on the season in these spots. That's 4th best in Major League Baseball, 2nd best in the American League.
We got our own taste of that when we were in town last week, and that one just barely fouled by Tejada. It's 0-2. Beltre better be ready down there. Looks like he's aiming for him.
You say, hey, you see what happened to me the other day with Jerry Davis? What do you think about that? You wouldn't do that to me, would you? I don't think that's what he said.
That little exchange right there, though, that'll tell you just about everything you need to know about Beltre. In 20 years in the game, he has spent a lot of time with each of those umpires, and he has great relationships with all of them. As a foul ball by Tejada keeps the count 0-2. Which is what made that situation on Wednesday so stunning. Ejected in the 8th inning of, at the time, it was an 18-6 game. Rangers were trailing badly. Beltre just was a little too far away from that on deck circle, I guess. First at bat tonight for the Orioles with a man in scoring position. And a pitch from Cashner very high. It's 1-2. When we were in Baltimore for those 4 games, the Orioles went 14 for 37 with runners in scoring position. And converted time and time again. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Cashner takes care of Tejada, and the inning is done. He strands 2 out of the bases. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Elvis Andrus has had a big night tonight. A single in the 1st, a homer in the 3rd, and he'll lead it off.
High-speed replay for tonight. We're going to take you back to the 3rd inning when Elvis Andrus got himself a fastball up the handle. He crushes this baseball to left field, his 14th home run of the season, and at the time put the Rangers up by a score of 4-0. They have since added 1 against Chris Tillman. And now Elvis Andrus in there again for his 3rd at bat.
This time he watches strike 1 from Tillman. Andrus, we mentioned earlier, he struggled more than anybody when we were in Baltimore. It's nice to see him swinging it well in the opening game of this series. He was 0 for 16 at Camden Yards. But today the base hit, the home run. He scored 2, driven in 2.
Oh, my.
Look out. Where was that going?
I tell you what, I don't like that reaction at all from Chris Tillman. You see how he kind of finished there, and it looked like his arm almost kind of locked up on him a little bit. This is the second way wide break. Look how he kind of punches over a little bit. Looked like there was some pain involved in that pitch, but obviously the Orioles didn't think so.
2-1, and that one line to third, and Machado is there. That is some kind of play. What a reaction on a blistering line drive, one away.
This ball was absolutely crushed, and you see Manny Machado just reacting, making a very nice play. We talk about him a lot, the great defense that he plays at the hot corner guy who came up as a shortstop, but see him laughing now. It is all about reaction. When you were playing the hot corner, that is why we call it that, and Manny Machado's got some great reactions down there. One of the great third basemen. We know Nolan Arenado, and of course here Adrian Beltre. Two-time Gold Glove winner down there at third base for the Orioles.
He probably has a few more in his future as Nomar Mazara swings and misses. Some pretty good third basemen this weekend here at Globe Life Park. You might want to come out and check it out these next two nights.
These guys have been dominating. If you want, okay, well, what about the other ones? Beltre, obviously a really nice run, and Kyle Seager is in there. 2014 he had one, so you think about this division, he's got some pretty good third basemen in it. Evan Longoria, who we just saw, had a couple of those as well. I'll say, I think at least in the American League, none better than that guy right there. An absurd 38 years old. I mean, you expect defense to go down. We have not seen that yet at all from Adrian Beltre.
In fact, working on his longest errorless streak in his career here at age 38, the 1-1. And Mazara takes it up and away. Nomar's had a great night, 2 doubles. He's driven in 2, scored a run. Remember, it was just a couple of days ago when he was mired in what looked like a long and desperate slump, 0 for 26. But he snapped out of it. And has done so in a pretty big way. 6 for his last 10. As ahead here, 3-1. Tillman has retired 7 in a row now. There's a strike, and it's a full count on Nomar Mazara. Adrian Beltre waiting on deck. 1 out here in the 5th inning. Rangers with the comfortable early lead. The payoff to Mazara. And he shoots it down the left field line. It is a fair ball and down into the corner. And Nomar with another double. 3 for 3 tonight with 3 doubles.
Nomar Mazara came into the evening with 18 doubles on the season. You see it there now, 21 on the year, and he has gone to right field in the gap, left field in the gap, and now left field down the line as he gets a pitch that is away. It looked like it was on the corner. Look at the approach, head down, head even further back than on the pitch that we saw in the previous double that he hit to left center. But man, that is just so fun to watch. Nomar Mazara locked in. 3 doubles on the night.
Beltre 1 for 2. Tillman avoids him outside.
I know we know it's been, of course, a short career here for Nomar Mazara, just in his 2nd full season in the big leagues, but he has had 2 games with 2 doubles. Both of those happened this year, so it'll be the first time for him in his career where he has had 3 doubles in a game.
Way outside, Mazara heads to 3rd on a wild pitch.
Well, opposite arm side has continued to be an issue here for Chris Tillman, if you want to call it glove side, wherever you want to call it, away to righties. I've seen a lot of balls in the dirt. He's had an issue on that side of the plate really all year, but it has been a bigger issue for him here tonight.
Adrian wants timeout. Three hits away from joining the 30 other men who have amassed 3,000 hits in their major league careers. When you look at the list of guys who have accomplished the feat, and of course you recognize all the names, the guys going back to the 1800s, guys like Cap Anson, Honus Wagner, Matt Lajoie, Ty Cobb. Nearly 20,000 guys that played Major League Ball. That one up the middle. A base hit for Adrian Beltre. It scores another run. 6-0 Rangers. And Adrian Beltre is 2 hits away. Fans getting more and more into it with each hit. Adrian Beltre getting closer and closer for more on this pursuit. We'll check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, the State Farm winning combination tonight features Adrian Beltre and the relationship he's got with coaches. And you wonder, how do you coach Adrian Beltre? I talked to Justin Mayshore about it, the assistant hitting coach today, and he said, with a guy like Adrian, all you do is stand there and let him sound off on you. Let him run ideas by you, let him talk to you. You don't coach Adrian Beltre. You're just there to open his eyes to anything, more than anything though, just to listen. With a guy like Adrian, you don't coach, you mainly just listen, guys.
I think that's a pretty good combination.
Well, think about this too. We talk about how younger players have such a great opportunity when they get to play with a guy like Adrian Beltre, what you can learn from him. Well, same goes for younger coaches too. You talk about a guy who has seen it all and done it all. Adrian Beltre can serve as I don't want to say a mentor, but even a teacher for coaches.
There's another hard hit ball into left field. This one by Mike Napoli. Beltre goes to third, a double for Napoli. And the hits just keep coming tonight.
Well, the middle of this lineup right now is slugging. 4 doubles between your 3, 4, and 5 hitters right now, and Mike Napoli joining that party as you see him launching this ball into left field. Just a little bit of top spin for him. We're so used to seeing Mike Napoli hit those balls high in the air, and had he gotten under that one just a little bit more, you might have been looking at a home run.
So that is all tonight for Chris Tillman. Napoli knocks him out with that double. Richard Blyer coming in out of the bullpen for Baltimore. Only 1 out of this 5th inning, and the Rangers up by 6. Moment ago, Adrian Beltre up the middle this time. Second into the night. They're coming in bunches right now for Adrian Beltre, sitting on 2,998 hits. And our Adrian Beltre hit counter brought to you by Jack in the Box.
Amazing to see what he has done so far on this homestand. Fans starting to feel it. You can tell in the ballpark now as the energy starts to pick up with each hit.
Well, Tapper down to first, and Odor rolls out to Davis. 2 away. This is Blyer, the new pitcher.
And we'll take a look at Blyer here. 30th game for him on the season for the 30-year-old coming out of that Orioles bullpen. One of 3 lefties that they have down there. He's done a very nice job. Very impressive ERA, 1.69. Very respectable whip as well. Even numbers when you look at lefties and righties. 265 against lefties, 258 against righties. What he has done really well in the situation that he is in right now. Inherited runners. He has inherited 18 of those this season. Only 2 have scored.
Swing and a miss by Gomez for strike 1. Carlos 0 for 2. Struck out in the second inning and flied out in the third.
Blyer, a guy who does not overwhelm and overpower hitters with his stuff. Fastball sits around 89 miles an hour. Everything under 90. A cutter at 86, slider 81, changeup at 81 as well. And that's evident. You look at his strikeout rate, 3.6 per 9 innings, but isn't walk hitters either. He's had a very respectable 2.2 walk rate, better than respectable. A very nice 69% ground ball rate.
Hard foul ball off that front left shin or ankle with Carlos Gomez. 1-2 the count. Walked it off though, seems fine.
It stung a little bit. We've seen this a lot. Big swing here from Carlos Gomez, and it looked like it was that cutter that was in, and almost like it caught him in the calf. You don't see that too often.
Foul over to the right side. Nice play by a fan of the club level of seats. Atta babe.
Let's see, you go 2-hand or 1-hand. That's all right. 2-hand still impressive.
Oh, that's one kid with the glove. Don't you see that? Oh no. Oh, in position. This one ripped foul. Look out down there in that Orioles dugout. Beltre at third base at the moment. Napoli at second. 2 away. That'll even the count. Gomez with 13 home runs this year. Battled some injuries. Fouls this one back. It stays 2-2. Another good extended at bat here for Carlos Gomez. This will be the 8th that he sees from Blyer. It will be a 9th.
It's a good battle here from Carlos Gomez when he's facing a lefty like this in this situation. He's looking for something out over the plate. We saw the cutter earlier that got in on Carlos Gomez, but he's looking for that changeup, fastball away, something that he can really handle. We know he takes a big swing with 2 strikes. Lefty righty has been kind of the same for Carlos this year. 241 against lefties, 246 against righties. But this kind of lead right now, a couple of runners in scoring position, you know that his eyes are lighting up and looking for something out over the plate to handle.
Line drive up the middle. That's a base hit. Beltre is in. Napoli on his heels. A 2-run single for Carlos Gomez and extends the Rangers lead to 8-0.
Well, as much as we see Carlos Gomez get big sometimes and maybe even every once in a while get a little bit pull happy, he did an excellent job here on a pitch that looked like it was pretty well located down and away. Two-seam fastball, so it's going to run away from him. Look at that pitch. I mean, it is exactly where Blyer wanted it. And credit Carlos Gomez for drilling this ball right back up the middle, not trying to pull that ball in this RBI situation and picking up a couple of RBIs for himself and really helping the Rangers open up things here in the 5th inning.
Gallo sends the first pitch foul out of play for strike 1. Joey with a base hit, struck out looking in the 4th inning, 1 for 2. But that was against Chris Tillman. Tillman's night is over. At 4 1/3, gave up 6 runs on, check that, all 8 runs on 9 hits. Walked 2, struck out 6. Blyer, who had done a really good job of stranding inherited runners, and didn't fare quite as well here tonight, allowing both to score. Swing and a miss. Gallo strikes out. The inning is done. The Rangers, though, pick up 3 more and extend their lead to 8. It's a night, though, belonging to that man. Adrian Beltre chisels away 2 more on his march to 3,000. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now during the Ford Summer Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. 5 innings down. And this one, all Rangers leading 8-0 as we go to the 6th inning. A mixture today. Great pitching by Andrew Kashner, and then the offense just consistently stringing hits together tonight. And putting up 8 runs on 10 hits. Top of the order in this 6th inning for the Orioles. Adam Jones is 0 for 2. He's taking a strike from Andrew Kashner. Castner had been pretty efficient early on, and he got the first 2 hitters last inning. Looked like he might have another really short inning, but ended up expending 21 pitches in the 5th. So interesting to see how he'll bounce back here in the 6th inning. 1-2 the count.
Well, certainly a nice rest there as the Rangers put up some runs on the Orioles. We were talking about Chris Tillman earlier and his struggles and first pitch strikes, just 9 for 23 in the night when it was all said and done. Well, the opposite for Andrew Cashner, 14 first pitch strikes to the 19 hitters he has faced so far tonight.
Jones stays alive, 1-2. You'd have to be, I guess, cognizant of the ways in which Jones could hurt you if you're Andrew Cashner. Adam Jones does have good power. Cashner looking for his 6th win of the year. One-two pitch. And this one lined up the middle. Jones with his first hit of the night. All right, time for us to take a Chevy game break. Let's send it back again to Rick Renner.
Third baseman Manny Machado.
All right, thanks, Rick. That is notable, certainly. The Astros have been a team out there involved in a lot of the rumor mill on pitchers. You wonder, A, how aggressive they'll continue to be or want to be, and then B, I don't know, a start like that tonight, how much that even amplifies their interest level to continue to be aggressive, or maybe be more aggressive. Machado takes a strike, 1-1.
9 base runners tonight for Dallas Keuchel, 6 hits, 3 walks in there over his 3 innings of work. If I'm the Astros, and it doesn't even matter. This outing doesn't matter as much. You let him work his way back. Dallas Keuchel was having a great year and just missed a little bit of time, but I'm very aggressive as far as trying to add a starting pitcher.
Potential double play here. Odor to Andrews, one. On to first, double play. 4-6-3. And that erases Jones quickly from the bases. 2 out. Nobody on.
This is a familiar story for Andrew Cashner and the Texas Rangers. We know Martin Perez is the best that the Rangers have, but when it comes to getting these double plays, but Andrew Cashner's done a very nice job as well. 14th time he's gotten an opponent to ground into a double play, and the Rangers just continue to turn double plays with ease. It really is incredible to watch those 2 guys, Ruben Odor and Elvis Andrus, up the middle, and their ability to turn that double play as consistently as they have the last couple of seasons.
Scope swinging to the first pitch, fouls it back.
But getting back to what we were talking about from the Astros, they were very patient during their rebuild, right? All those years when they were terrible and ended up having the first overall pick, and they have slowly put it together. And I know Ranger fans don't like hearing about it, but if I was in their shoes, this is the time to get aggressive and maybe give up a little bit to land a starting pitcher that can make a huge difference. So maybe Sonny Gray as a guy that I would dig in. I'd give up some legitimate prospects to get my hands on somebody like that right now if I were the Astros.
This ball hit well down the left field line. If it stays fair, it is gone. Wow, that was a blast by Jonathan Scope. It is his 23rd of the year and a no-doubter.
Not a big deal if you're Andrew Cashner, who's been cruising along right now, and it's 5 2/3 of shutout baseball. You got yourself a nice lead. The idea of filling up the strike zone, throwing strikes, so important, I think, in these spots right here. As you see, it would look like that cutter slider, and it kind of backed up on him and just sat there up and in. But it's going to happen, and Jonathan Scope is having a really nice year. Really has emerged now over these last couple of seasons. Looks like he is well on his way to setting a career high in home runs. He did it last year with 25. That's 23 right now. So you got to believe he will get there and be one of those many players. We had been talking about it a bunch We've set career highs in home runs this year. Last time we took count, that was a week or so ago. 93 was the number. Where we will finish when it's all said and done, I don't know, 115, 120. As far as players setting new career highs in home runs, non-rookies.
Not likely that Chris Davis will set a new career high this year at 53 a couple years ago.
Safe bet.
He's at 17 for the year this year. That last home run, though, by Scope, by the way, 423 feet. It's 3-1. Rangers up 8-1. Top of the 6th inning. Beltre already with 2 hits in tonight's game and needs just 2 more to hit that milestone number 3,000. Already more hits than any other Dominican-born player in the history of Major League Baseball. He's played more games than any Dominican-born player in Major League history. And ball 4 delivered to Davis. So a 2-out walk, and it gets Mark Trumbo to the plate.
And Robinson Trinos will go out now real quick and just give Andrew Kashner a breather. It was the 2nd walk of the night. Not a big deal. Again, still well in control here of this game. 8-1 lead, but you do have to be careful because this is a high-powered offense. You look at the first 6 hitters in this lineup with at least 15 home runs. You go down 1 more to Seth Smith at hitting 7th, and they got 7 straight hitters of 10 or more home runs. So they got some pop and they got some power, but still want Andrew Kashner to staying in the zone, throwing strikes, and continuing to do what he has done tonight, which is throw the ball very well.
Strike in there to Trumbo, who's 0 for 2. Trumbo's popped up, grounded out. One of the few guys in an Orioles uniform who did not have a real big series when we were there just about 10 days ago. That's just 2 hits in that series, although one of them was a home run. He also struck out 7 times. Kashner threw 20 pitches, rather 21 pitches last inning. That was his 20th this inning. Now he built up a little reserve with 3 9-pitch innings early on tonight, so I figure he's got room to go a little bit deeper in this one, but the outs have taken a little more investment inning by inning for him.
Well, that's why all pitch counts are not created equal. Right? It's one thing is, okay, pretty good pitch count, he's throwing the ball well, but also how did you get there? And so it's back-to-back innings now where they've been a little bit longer in this kind of heat, as he's probably already fatiguing anyway as you get late in the game, and so you have to keep an eye on that. It's not just, oh, it's 86 pitches now and he should be crisp. Not surprising to get a little fatigued, even though Andrew Kashner is a Texas native. I don't know if you ever completely get used to starting a game at 7 o'clock 2 hours ago when it was 99 degrees out.
2-2. Got him looking. Another strikeout. This one ends the 6th inning for Kashner.
Well, Andrew Kashner does a great job of bearing down and making a big pitch in a big spot, painting the fastball down and in to Mark Trumbo, and all he can do is watch.
by Sonic Drive-In. Our jackpot today, $1,100 plus dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. Jesse Cortez is our contestant. If a Ranger hits a home run this inning, Jesse wins $1,100. If a Ranger hits a grand slam, well, he'll win an additional $25,000. Good luck, Jesse. Bottom of the sixth, Robinson Chirinos. And he takes strike one from Richard Blyer.
This is the right man in the right spot for Jesse if you're trying to get yourself that Sonic Slam inning. Robinson Chirinos 0 for 2 so far tonight, but having a nice year offensively, especially with the power. He's done a really good job against lefties as well. .324 batting average for him coming into tonight. 3 of his 12 home runs have been against left-handed pitching.
Today, Chirinos has bounced into a double play. He's also popped up to short. And he'll ask for time.
Kind of interesting to see, I think, Robinson's backward splits a little bit. Only 189 against righties coming into tonight. Now, when you're a part-time player, you lend yourself sometimes to some batting averages that'll get a little bit askew, but he's having a really nice year. I think you see him over the course of time, that number certainly would go up a pretty good amount, but at the same time, he's crushed those lefties as well, hitting .324 against lefties this year. But 9 of the home runs have come against those right-handed pitchers.
Ball and 2 strikes in this 6th inning. Blyer on in relief. And swing and a miss. He gets Chirinos. Strikeout starts our 6th inning.
A Texas Rangers suite rental is the perfect way to entertain your clients, family, and friends this season. All regular season nightly suite rental packages include parking and a food and beverage package. Visit TexasRangers.com/suites or call 972-RANGERS for more details on how to reserve a suite. And maybe the most important part of that was missing. There's air conditioning on the inside of that suite.
Really start to appreciate that in July. Chu today, 0 for 1, but a couple of walks. He has scored twice, very late on that swing. And the count 0-2. Chris Tillman had the start for Baltimore. Blyer now got the final 2 outs last inning. A little more work here in the 6th. We'll see plenty of this Orioles bullpen tonight. And Chu patiently stays right in there. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Blyer.
Well, that's really surprising when you look at Richard Blyer in the strikeout rate. I mentioned he came into this game striking out just 3.6 per 9 innings. 15 strikeouts in 37 innings. He is not a swing and miss guy. That is not what he does. But it's been now Gallo, Chirinos, and Chu who have gone down on strikes.
Andrews takes strike 1. 2 for 3 tonight. Big home run back in the 3rd inning. 14 home runs for the year now.
And no action in the Oriole bullpen. You talked about how they're going to have to eat some innings now because Chris Tillman lasted just 4 to 3rd. Blyer had pitched 4 innings in a game in relief back in early May. So Buck Showalter not afraid to push it a little bit with him. He's got multiple outings of 2 innings or more.
(1-1). And Elvis in a hole, a ball and 2 strikes. How about this? Talking about guys setting new records for home runs in a season. Prior to this year, the best 2 years for Elvis Andrus were last year and the year prior. And he combined in those 2 years for 15 home runs. He has 14 this year. And a little roller out to second base. Scope is there, and it completes a 1-2-3 inning for Blyer. So it has been a big year for Elvis Andrus. We go to the 7th inning. 8-1 Rangers. Great giveaway item. Make you feel like a kid in a toy shop. First 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Saturday, August 19th. We're going to get an Adrian Beltre starting lineup figurine courtesy of McDonald's. The Rangers are going to be taking on the White Sox, a 7:05 game. And you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. 7th inning, Trey Mancini leading it off for Baltimore. And Cashner's first pitch is inside. For a little more on Adrian Beltre, we check in again with Emily Jones.
Well, David, seems like those around Adrian Beltre probably more excited than he is to get to 3,000. Jeff Bannister talking today about how much he's enjoying this journey and being able to see it up close as he is. He had a very well-timed little funny today in his pregame interview and said, you know what, there's every time he comes into the on-deck circle, wherever that on-deck circle might be, there's going to be you know, kind of a hush with the crowd, and everyone's going to be anticipating when it's going to happen and basically hanging on every pitch when Adrian Beltre is at the plate. So Banny with a little humor and some appreciation of Mr. Beltre.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a pretty cool moment, though. Really good line that he got off, wherever that on-deck circle may be. There's been a building sense of urgency and a buzz throughout this crowd tonight. 36,270 on hand on this Friday night. There was no guarantee, certainly, that this team or this night would produce the history everybody's hoping for. Needed 4 hits coming in. But Adrian already with 2 of them tonight and a chance potentially to get 2 more at bats.
As a Ranger fan, you can't take that chance. Yeah, it would take a big night, right? A 4-hit night would be a big one for Adrian Beltre, but if you're within driving distance and you're a Ranger fan, you got to be here. There's no 2 ways about it. Worst case scenario, you get fireworks.
Right.
You win. No matter what, you're going to win. Now, you may win big and you get your 4 hits, or you win kind of big. You get your fireworks. So you got to be here. If it doesn't happen, you got to be here tomorrow. No fireworks tomorrow, though.
No, but if he doesn't get there tonight, you definitely have to be here tomorrow. Beltre taking care of that bouncer from Mancini. 1 away in the 7th inning. Hey, MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Rangers baseball. You can follow the Rangers with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and frankly a whole lot more. Download MLB.com at bat today. 1 out here in the 7th inning. And speaking of Adrian Beltre and his continued pursuit to 3,000 hits, he's 2 short, and he'll be up 2nd next inning, or this bottom of this inning, as it were. I can't even imagine everything going through his mind tonight. Matt Bush getting loose in the Rangers pen just in case. This ball hit out in the air to right field. Mazzara loping toward the foul line, and he'll make the catch, 2 away.
You think about all the players that you've been around and covered over the course of your career, even the ones that you've just watched from a distance and their ability to handle big moments and big situations. I'm not sure there's a guy who will be more relaxed in this spot, right? He really hasn't wanted to talk about it very much. He's been so team focused on what's going on with the ball club right now and trying to do whatever he can to help this team win so they can stay in contention. You never know what's going on the inside, but from the outside it just looks like everything is a normal day for Adrian Beltre, and the fact that he's going to step into history here pretty soon. Not just history, pretty incredible history. I mean, we talk about so many different things that go on in the game, and we throw numbers around, and we can tell some pretty good stories. But this is one that doesn't need a story. This is a very clear cut number that without any perspective you quickly realize 3,000 hits is something pretty special.
1 ball, 1 strike on Wellington Castillo. That one in there, strike 2 called. Castillo's been the tough out. He has 2 hits tonight and 2 trips.
Andrew Cashner has gone 7 innings 4 times this year in his 16 starts, and certainly looks like he's trying to do everything he possibly can to make this start number 5 where he goes at least 7.
His 100th pitch of the night. Only run he's given up, it was the home run by Jonathan Scope in the 6th inning. He's allowed just 5 hits. Right-hander's been very sharp tonight. His 2-2 way inside, and it's a full count. The windup in the 3-2. Got him looking. That might be the great accent to an otherwise wonderful night for Andrew Cashner. A perfect top of the 7th. Beltre due up 2nd at the bottom of the 7th inning. We stay here. Chuck Morgan on the PAs. We get ready for God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and direct your attention to the area behind home plate and welcome Karen Quinn. In honor of all the veterans who have served our country and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed at home and around the world, Karen Quinn will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside you and guide you through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the valleys, to the oceans, white with love. God bless America.
the 7th inning. And start looking forward to tomorrow's pitching matchup, our AT&T pitching matchup tomorrow. Kevin Gausman, Austin Bivens-Dirks going for the Rangers, taking his perfect record of 3-0 out to the mound in the middle game of our 3-game series. Pre-game coverage will begin at 6:30 right here on Fox Sports Southwest.
And Austin will try to recapture some of that magic. He was in the rotation, did an excellent job for the Rangers. Now he hasn't started since June 30th. There's Austin. Ready and thinking about tomorrow night's game, but man, he has just been so important to this club. You look at the overall numbers and say, oh, 4.5 ERA, you know, how has it been so big? Well, he has just made some huge starts, and so he will try to continue that, filling in for Tyson Ross, who won on the DL. Get thrown out of your routine. Not an easy thing to do. He's got one of the most difficult jobs on this team, on this pitching staff. Back and forth between the starting rotation and the bullpen, and he's done a tremendous job of answering the bell.
Chopper shortstop. Tejada is there, throws to first, one away. And here he comes. And Beltre is due up next. But before that moment, Buck Showalter goes to the mound to make a pitching change. So a little bit of the energy of the moment.
Some gamemanship.
Yes.
Playing matchups 8-1. No avoiding it, Buck. He is getting that 3,000 hit. It's going to be against you.
Michael Givens, the new pitcher, coming on for the Orioles. My guess is the Rangers won't counter with a move of their own. We'll be back for Adrian Beltre's at bat in a moment. Now the fans just greeting Adrian Beltre as he was announced. Michael Givens comes way in. Look at
that. Wow. No intent here. This is an off-speed pitch from Michael Givens. Looked like it was a slider. It was, as it just kind of backed up and stayed inside to Adrian Beltre. And always the gentleman who picked the ball up and handed it to the catcher. You know, that's the other thing too, is you kind of jokingly do this as an opposing pitching staff when you come in to town in these moments, knowing there's a chance that you could get there and say, well, who's it going to be? It's not going to be me. Right down the bullpen, guys start having maybe little games between themselves, betting who may be the man.
High pop up, right side of the infield. 2 away.
First baseman, Mike Napoli.
Michael Givens, he's been very good lately at An 0.67 earned run average over his last 22 games. And how about that? 7 wins. That leads all major league relievers this year. So is he a vulture?
Absolutely. Now, a lot of times with the offense, it could be because they're coming back. Vulture's a little bit more if you give it up and then somehow get the win, or maybe you blow the lead and it becomes a tie game, and then all of a sudden the offense kind of bails you out a little bit. But he's done a really nice job. Vulture, you got to have a little bit of a higher ERA. ERA is a little bit too low to be a Vulture. Those 7 wins. He has been significant in this bullpen. Part of the reason why they believe they could trade a guy like Brad Brock, because they're so deep in young, good arms like Michael Gibbons.
Jumps ahead here quickly. 0-2 on Mike Napoli. Count stays 0-2. Now Napoli doubled his last time up. 1 for 3 tonight. Rangers scored 2 runs in the first inning. They added 3 in the third, 3 more in the 5th inning. In the odd numbered innings tonight that have accounted for the offense, but a quiet one so far here in the 7th as Napoli shanks it out of play. Stays 0-2. Givens on for Blyer, who relieved Orioles starter Chris Tillman. Foul tip into the glove of Castillo, and that strikeout ends a quiet 1-2-3, bottom of the 7th inning. We go to the 8th inning tonight at Globe Life Park. Rangers by 7. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. Well, this one's been heavily tilted in the Rangers' favor tonight. We go to the 8th inning. 9th place hitter Ruben Tejada will lead things off for the Orioles. Cashner is done, and Matt Bush on in relief.
And there's that arsenal for Matt Bush, the great fastball that averages 98 miles an hour. He has thrown 20 fastballs this year that have been at 100 miles an hour or greater. Got the slider and the curveball as well to finish out that arsenal for Matt Bush, who's had a couple of days off. He threw in the middle game of that 3-game series against the Miami Marlins, an inning and 13 pitches, and then he also threw in the last game against the Tampa Bay Rays. So not a lot of work for him over these last few. So Matt Bush certainly should be strong, rested, and ready to go.
Tejada leans down and watches. It's a real good look, in fact, at that good fastball there at 98 miles per hour. Tejada is flat out to right, struck out swinging. And 1-1 the count. So top of the 8th. Cashner was outstanding during his 7 innings tonight. Just 1 run on 5 hits as this one popped foul out of play for strike 2.
Yeah, he was locked in, looked really good, and finished strong too, which I think was really important for him. He knew he wanted to get through that 7th inning and hand it over to the bullpen, give them a clean inning. He did exactly that. A big strikeout of Castillo to finish off the 7th inning, where he put a fastball exactly where he wanted to, down and away to freeze Castillo, as you see him and Jonathan Lucroy going over some things.
A bouncer down to first base. Napoli will feed Bush. 1 out here with the 8th inning. All right, top of the order coming, but so is Rick Reynolds. Time for a Chevy game break. All right, thanks, Rick. Adam Jones, 1 out. And he swings and misses at that slider from Bush.
You saw this. This was on last night, where Jake Petrichka is the only reliever left in that Chicago White Sox bullpen from opening day.
How about that?
They have moved on. When you talk about selling and just saying, yep, we're not going to compete. Go ahead and let's move all of our pieces. You go back to the offseason with Adam Eaton and Chris Sale and now Jose Quintana and pretty much everybody else in that bullpen with the White Sox. Now they got prospects out the wazoo. Everyone talking about how great their system is. Now the question becomes, okay, what does this team look like in the next 3 to 4 years, and will they be able to put a winner together? That'll ultimately be the judge as far as how the rebuild went, but they certainly are not holding back. Todd Frazier as well.
Well,
David Robertson.
It seems like it has taken a little while for them to slowly but surely get rid of all of those players and turn them into young prospects coming back. But at the end of the day, some of the things Rick Hahn has done, the general manager in Chicago, it just almost defies what anyone could have expected. I mean, every once in a while there'd be a deal where you think, like, wow, he really made out there. But then it got to the point where you look at 3 or 4 or 5 deals, you thought, man, I think he got about everything you could out of that deal.
Well, they were patient, and that's the important part. They could afford to be, right? They were in a spot where they could afford to be, because a lot of these guys were, not all of them, but some of them were controllable players. Quintana was controllable. Chris Sale was controllable. Adam Eaton was controllable. It's not like Todd Frazier, where it was a rental, right? Todd Frazier will be a free agent at the end of the year. That's a little bit of a harder deal to pull off and really get anything of any significance in return. But they were in the driver's seat. I think they got a little punch drunk after those first 2 trades with Chris Sale and Adam Eaton. They did incredibly well, and they just wanted to keep doing well, and eventually they did.
Well, Matt Bush does well as he strikes out Adam Jones. 2 gone in this 8th inning.
And that's a nice job by Matt Bush, and we'll see him finishing off Adam Jones with the breaking ball. Watch it here at 80 miles an hour below the zone. The combination, there was a fastball that was up in the zone earlier in that at bat. That's what sets up the curveball below the zone. 5-pitch at bat, all strikes for Matt Bush. Nice job against the red hot Adam Jones. We talked about how good he has been in the open prior to this game.
Manny Machado hitless so far in 3 tries. Takes ball 1 from Matt Bush. Machado was twice flied out to center field, also grounded into a double play. Hits this one slowly toward first. Napoli has it, then does not, and neither does Odor. That ball is unusually heavy. Seemed like it could not be picked up, and it goes as an error on Napoli.
This is what we call a cue shot, and that was a ball off the end of the bat that had some funky spin to it. You see Mike Napoli sliding over more and more, and yeah, it wasn't hit very hard, but watch how this ball is spinning. You can see the sideways spin right there, and I think that's what ultimately, look at it, they still spinning sideways. That's amazing. Even though it's rolling forward, it's spinning sideways.
Yeah, And it was touch too. I mean, he got the glove on it. I think like the Tasmanian devil.
It's like one of those uneven training balls. You ever see those things where they're actually not rounds and they bounce all over the place? That kind of looked like that one there, and so will be an error for Mike Napoli, and the inning stays alive. That's one of those ones where you wish he hit it just a little bit harder than he did, made it a routine ground ball.
Now gets Jonathan Schoop to the plate. He homered in the 6th inning. That's the only offense tonight for Baltimore. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. They have left 4. Rangers 8 runs on 10 hits, 1 error. And just a little bit wide. It's 2-0 to Schoop. We talked about it a lot earlier tonight. Schoop has been about the hottest player in the American League in the second half, certainly in the month of July, hitting .333 for July, 23 RBIs. And he takes one down the middle. It's 2-1. He was just the American League Player of the Week last week. A very good young player, Jonathan Schoop. Bush trying to get through this 8th inning. Got a ground out, a strikeout. The error extends it. Machado going nowhere over at first, down by 7 runs. The 2-2 pitch. And that one is outside, so it's a full count. Story tonight, Rangers got a lot of runs early. Got great pitching from Andrew Cashner. And all of that playing second fiddle to the fact that Adrian Beltre has 2 more hits tonight and needs 2 more to get to 3,000. Great crowd here tonight. The 3-2 inside, and that's ball 4. So an error and now a walk. We'll get Chris Davis to the plate.
Now batting first baseman Chris Davis.
Chirinos out for a little bit of a reset here with Matt Bush, and also probably talking a little bit of strategy and how they want to be able to handle Chris Davis. Also reconfirming what they're going to do with the runner on second, as far as what signs they're going to use.
Davis 1 for 2 with a walk.
One of the conversations that we've had about Matt Bush this year is he really tried to dig in and take a look at his season. We've noticed that elevating the fastball has been an area that I think has made him more successful. Watch him elevate. It's such a good fastball, such good velocity. Give hitters a chance sometimes when you keep it down, even though that kind of goes up against everything we say in pitching. If you're a high velocity guy, chances are, especially with that 4-seamer, you're better off elevating. Well, this is an interesting at bat because Matt Bush, we saw him in this inning so far, good looking fastballs that are down at the knees. But to finish hitters off and really get that strikeout up, and especially up and into Chris Davis, is the place to go. Against fastballs down and away over the last 2 years, he's hitting .375. Fastballs down over the middle of the plate, .333. So very good numbers on low fastballs. We'll see if Matt Bush can get this thing elevated. He gets a strike there. But you see what Robinson Chirinos' glove was? He knows. He knows those numbers. He's very well aware of Chris Davis. Obviously knows him as a former teammate as well. But look at the glove. He wants it up and under the hands. This one ends up being a little bit, probably more middle as far as height goes, but a good pitch nonetheless.
1-2 the count.
He wants it again up.
For it up. He got it up, but it's 2-2.
It's funny too. There will be guys that'll tell you sometimes they have a hard time getting the fastball up, and usually because you do by mistake. And some guys get so locked in, they have such good downward angle. They're very good at throwing the ball down at the knees, but actually elevating sometimes can be a little bit harder than it sounds.
Two men out there ahead of Davis, and he swings and lines this one out to center field, drops in for a base hit. Machado turns and heads to the plate. He'll score. RBI single by Chris Davis makes it an 8-2 ball game in the 8th inning.
Well, after the 97-mile-an-hour fastball missed for Matt Bush, he went to a breaking ball here. It was a pretty decent one. It was down, but it was away. Chris Davis was able to get those arms extended, line it right back up the middle. A good swing that we see so often from him, that power swing. Now with a couple of base runners and a run in, Alex Claudio will be up in the Ranger bullpen.
So McHale out there having an extended conversation. Mark Trumbo, the man coming to the plate. Trumbo 0 for 3 today as Bush, maybe nothing else, gets just a little breather right there. 22 pitches into the inning. Bush has faced Trumbo twice before and got him both times. Way inside. Did that one get a piece of him? Spun away quickly. No indication from our umpire, Jordan Baker. No indication from Trumbo.
You see the same thing here. Look where Robinson Chirinos wanted the fastball. He wants it up. This one actually ran a little bit on Matt Bush. And sometimes you fall off to the mound or that front shoulder opens up too quickly. The ball will get some run on it that you weren't necessarily hoping to get. Looked like that might have been the case in that fastball with Matt Bush.
1-1 the count. So Bush having to work in this 8th inning. Got the first 2 outs. But then that little squibber down to first base that Napoli couldn't corral. That error extended the inning. Then the walk to Scope and Davis with a base hit. So it's added significant work here. The 1-1. Just missed outside.
That's a good pitch, especially after we saw the fastball for the first pitch of this at bat, that one that ran up and in. What that does, even though it was unintentional to get that close, it really does open up the outside part of the play when you have the kind of velocity that Matt Bush has. Unfortunately, just finished off the plate.
Inside. Trumbo started. Good job of stopping himself.
That gives you a pretty good idea of how live that fastball is coming out of the arm out of the hand of Matt Bush. All right, we saw where it finished, and you're watching it on TV. And so how is he even offering it that? Well, the ball starts out a strike, and it's hard, and it's got life on it, and it's late action. And that's why you start to get that initial swing a little bit. But as you mentioned, Trumbo was able to hold up.
There you go, and it's a full count now.
Again, look at that life. Now he's also in a fastball count, and he's thinking, I want to get it started early. I could be seeing 98, 99, and so you get that swing going a little bit, and much too late to try to hold up. And I got to believe Robinson Chirinos would love to see another fastball, get it up and in the strike zone based on his last couple of swings we just saw.
Runners were going. This one popped up, but we'll head up into the seats. Look out. Gentleman extended himself for that play. Lost a decent amount of beer, but he got the ball. Atta boy.
Call it even.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Actually, I take that back. That's a plus. You're on the positive side. You'll trade a beer and a free shower. It's a little toasty down there.
Just enough left to wash that one down. Payoff pitch. And a little scribber foul. Just mentioning that Bush has had to put in some extra work this inning. This will be now the 30th pitch of the inning. And with relievers, Rick Bannister's talked about this. There is a point at which he just feels like enough is enough. Even though Bush has done really fairly decent job here controlling the situation, you don't want to push him too far. 3-2. And a high pop-up left side of the infield. That should take care of it. Question is, who will catch it? And it is Elvis. So Andrews tucks that one away, and we will go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's an 8-2 game. Summary, 8-2 Rangers. Nomar Mazara, 3 doubles in this thing. But again, it's Adrian Beltre's night so far. 2 hits, gets him to within 2 of 3,000. And the magic number. Donnie Hart has come on to pitch for Baltimore.
We mentioned 3 lefties in the Baltimore Orioles bullpen. Donnie Hart is one of those. You see the numbers for him. Nice 1.35 whip. Good strikeout to walk ratio. 36th game of the year for him. 30-year-old, excuse me, 26-year-old lefty. And as I mentioned with Blyer, also not an overpowering fastball, 88 miles an hour on average. Throws a slider and changeup as well. Both of the lefties that they have, I say both leading up to Zach Britton, but the earlier lefties in this Orioles bullpen, quite the contrast to what they bring at the end of the game when they're leading in Zach Britton.
Rougned Odor leading things off in this 8th inning. It's a pretty big cut there. A couple of strikeouts tonight for Odor. That gets him to an even 100 strikeouts on the season. Most of the damage tonight has been contained to the top of the order for the Rangers. And Odor smacks that one down to first, in and out of the glove of Davis, and Odor will beat it out. An error on Chris Davis. That's how we start the bottom of the 8th.
Oh, it's pretty well struck as a 2-hopper there for Chris Davis. Ends up getting caught in between for him, and you can kind of see it there. He looks down at his glove, but it was more that second hop that got on him a little bit quickly. It hit his glove, but it just popped out, was unable to squeeze it. Odor in very easily at first base. Surprised actually Davis still threw that ball. It's an awkward angle too. And the way that Odor was coming down the line, that ball could have been very close to hitting.
So Odor at first. For Carlos Gomez, drove in a pair earlier tonight with a base hit. Sends this one out to center field. Jones going back near the wall, and he'll make the catch. So 1 gone. Hey, tomorrow night, second game of the series. First 15,000 fans to the ballpark. You're going to get a Rougned Odor high five bobblehead, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Albertsons. It's the second in our series of 2 high-fiving bobbleheads, and you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972 Rangers. Yeah, that's a nice piece right there.
One of the many cool bobbleheads. Attaboy Dave, good job calling the game today, said Rugi. Yeah, love these things, man. Although ours was a little bit of a sideways head, but he's doing all right. Little Rugi over here. Keep him with us.
There's Joey Gallo.
You see Hart in the angle that he comes from, and you automatically would make that assumption that he dominates left-handed hitters in the way that we've seen Alex Claudio do it. Of course, a sidearm lefty down in the Rangers bullpen, but not necessarily the case. 255 against lefties, 267 against righties. So pretty even splits for a sidearm lefty. Not something you see very often.
Gallo in a hole 0-2. He's 1 for 3 tonight with a couple of strikeouts.
That's a good look right there, by the way, from behind home plate, lefty on lefty. The way Hart throws across his body. The baseball starts behind Joey Gallo. And because it's not high velocity, it's not as difficult to say facing a guy like Andrew Miller. Watch where his leg lands and where this ball starts against Joey Gallo. And that's starting pretty much right at him in his ribs, maybe a little bit behind him. And you do that at a higher velocity, and you can see why guys like Andrew Miller are such an uncomfortable at bat.
Hart is the 4th pitcher of the night for Baltimore in his 1-2 pitch.
I mean, from that angle, like I thought it was a strike. Right?
Yeah.
We didn't see it from the front side, but that's how difficult it can be, and really gives you a feel for how little time you have to react. Again, especially from a funky angle for Joey Gallo, who's done a really nice job against lefties this year. Pitch recognition, zone recognition, getting very good.
And bounces to the backstop. Wild pitch allows Odor to go to second base. Two to Gallo. Turned away from strike 3. And he knew it. 2 away in this 8th inning. That's a tough at bat.
This is where left-handed sidearm pitchers really have an advantage, when you can get that breaking ball consistently in the strike zone. Now, even though you see it there across the plate, kind of in the middle, but that thing finished on the corner. See Joey Gallo getting out there a little bit, and you mentioned it, he knew it right away. Tough at bat against a sidearm lefty. Now, for Robinson Chirinos, who has crushed lefties this year, this is a very favorable at bat.
Chirinos 0 for 3 tonight. And he takes ball 1. Bottom of the 8th, Rangers lead by 6. Trying to take the opener in this 3-game series against Baltimore. Baltimore swept 4 games at Camden Yards just inside 2 weeks ago. Bouncer left side, and Manny Machado is right there on top of it, and that will be the end of a quiet 8th inning. We go to the 9th. Last chance for Baltimore, with the Rangers up by 6.
2, just 3 outs away from their 50th win of the season. Rick Renner on the Rangers Live, presented by Frontier Communications Set. We're getting excited about a big post-game show coming up. We got 3 major Rangers stories we're following. Of course, Adrian Beltre, his chase of 3,000 hits just 2 away. Pudge Rodriguez going into the Hall of Fame this weekend. We got John Radigan up there in Cooperstown, New York, the trade deadline, and so much more. We'll hear from Jeff Bannister, Andrew Cashner. We got Emily Jones working the locker room. All that post-game reaction coming up on Rangers Live, presented by Frontier Communications after the game. Let's kick it across the diamond to Dave and CJ.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. Those guys do more in like a half an hour than most people do all day. All right, Alex Claudio on for the 9th inning.
Well, speaking of sidearm lefties, you see the arsenal there for Alex Claudio. That sinker, which has been so good for him, averaging 86 miles an hour. The changeup, been a fun pitch to watch all year as well. So he'll mix in that slider as well, mostly against left-handed hitters, and he'll get an opportunity to close this game out. Not a save situation, but certainly an important 9th inning here for Alex and the Rangers.
He misses off the plate. Ball 1 to Trey Mancini, who's hitless tonight in 3 tries. Tap or foul, even the count. Well, Mancini's had a real nice season. Just terrific numbers overall for him, although he's dipped below 300 with tonight's game. Good power numbers and all, but he's done most of his damage against right-handed pitching, which is sort of odd. Takes a strike. Pardon me. A ball. 2-1.
You're right. 328 against righties coming into tonight for Trey Mancini.
Yeah, you would figure lefties would give him some kind of advantage, but that has certainly not played out in the numbers this year.
That was that changeup from Alex Claudio, 71 miles an hour.
Bouncer third base. Ooh, nice pick like a shoe top by Beltre, and he gets Mancini 1 away. Not a lot of reaction time down there.
Nope. And Adrian continues to get it done defensively, and this is a really nice play. Like you mentioned, you see the feet moving pre-pitch. Helps him get into the right position, fields that ball cleanly, makes it look really, really easy, as Adrian does.
Joey Rickard is going to pinch hit here for Seth Smith. 1 out in this 9th inning. So Claudio gets the first man he faces. See the numbers for Rickard. That one run on the inside corner for strike 1. Rickard 2 for 10 as a pinch hitter this year. Yeah, the Buck Showalter uses quite a bit in that spot, and he shoots it foul. So interesting with these two teams. We started our broadcast with their positions in the wild card race as Rickard lines it to second, and a leaping grab made by Odor. He's made that play a handful of times this year. He likes getting up there and showing off the hops.
And he likes talking about how high he jumps. He usually does in these situations, and reminding Elvis Andrus that he's got a little bit of athletic abilities. We see him getting up there and making that nice play. Alex Claudio is certainly very happy with that. Couple decently hit balls here against Alex in the ninth, but both have been turned into outs.
That's how you get a high five bobblehead right there if you're rooting at Odor. Show off those great hops is the first pitch in there for a strike to Castillo. Anyway, these two teams both on the periphery of the wild card chase at the moment. Many have figured the Orioles to be sellers. Well, a lot of reports, apparently confirmed reports now coming out that the Orioles have made a deal for Jeremy Hellickson. Ken Rosenthal, who was on with us last week.
Never heard of him.
First to report it. This one shot foul out of play. 1-2 the count on Castillo.
That makes sense, right? They certainly have needed some rotation help here in Baltimore. Hellickson, a guy who's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Big pitch here for Alex, number 12. That'll keep his average under 12.5, which is what he has been doing all season long. The best in Major League Baseball.
1-2. And just off the plate.
So now a 13th pitch. I say that joking. I mean, he's just been unbelievably efficient. Alex Claudio has 12.5 pitches per inning has been his average this year. You'll see number 13.
2-2. Check swing roller, first base. Napoli is there, and that ends it. The Rangers win the opener 8-2 tonight, and Adrian Beltre, there you go. A little enthusiasm on a 2-hit night for him. And history will have to wait one more day.
Well, it was a great night for Adrian. You mentioned just continues to swing the bat so well on this homestand. Did a really nice job in a couple of pretty big spots as well. We'll take you back to the third inning. That broken bat, base hit. And a good read by Nomar Mazara as he comes home. And then Adrian again in the fifth, a ground ball base hit, which also drove home Nomar Mazara, who had a pretty nice night himself with 3 doubles. Adrian Beltre, that march 3,000 continues, and everyone breathing a little bit easier, feeling a little bit more confident that it could happen here in Arlington. 5 games left on this homestand, 2 more against the Orioles and then 3 against the Seattle Mariners. So everyone hoping pretty soon here for Adrian Beltre. It certainly does appear that we are just about there.
Well, he is making a pretty rapid assault at 3,000 with a 4-hit night, a 3-hit night, now a 2-hit night. And I would say if it's one of those things you're interested in seeing in person, you might check the box office tomorrow, because tomorrow could very easily be the day for Adrian Beltre. So much excitement here at Globe Life Park for that chase. Also, the Rangers now at 50 and 52. Back to just 2 games under 500. And Nomar Mazara,
here we go.
our post-game guest, standing by with Emily Jones.
Nomar Mazara, a triple-double tonight. 3 doubles for you. Feeling good at the plate, safe to say?
Yeah, not only me, Elvis and Beltre had a good game too. Also, you know, we're keeping the lineup moving. We're doing great things, and hopefully continue to happen right now. Not even us, like Kastner. This is a tough team to face. Kastner did an outstanding job up there, so hopefully we continue to do that.
What's it like for you to watch Adrian Beltre chase 3,000?
Oh, he's awesome. You know, not too many people can do that, what he's gonna do right now, and you know.
Nomar Mazara got things on the board early in this game. 2 RBI double to start things off. Set the tone early in this game. How important is that for you guys as an offense to give Cash or whoever some run support early?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome out there, especially us when we pull runners early in the game, you know, giving some confidence to the pitcher. And, you know, like I said before, he did an outstanding job there pressing those guys.
You get the sense that this team can get hot and make a run, Nomar?
Yeah, sure. We don't give up. And like I said, we're going to continue to doing what we're doing right now.
Nomar, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. We'll send it back now to you.
Yeah, really good night. A triple-double, as Emily says. I like that one. Rick Renner, Mark McLemore, Dave Murphy. They'll be back to talk about, well, so much from this one, including Beltre getting closer to 3,000. We'll be back as well to talk about Kastner's night. For CJ Nikowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. Rangers Live postgame show starts right after this.